I am so glad not to be in Clubhouse. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted, but it's good to be back.
I'm a bit biased, but I didn't like the UI. It felt like it felt okay. I'm an iOS guy, iPhone guy, but it felt like the difference between iPhone versus Android like 10 years ago. When it first got started, it was like, I really like my iPhone. That's how it felt. It was like Clubhouse was the same features, but like just not as good as Space.
I really did like that you could do like emotions, the emojis with the gifs and the things like that. So it was pretty cool. I mean, they have some new features compared to the last time that I was actually on there. So I don't know. I think it was all right. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know we complain sometimes about spaces like, oh, we need more speaker spots, but I don't know if that's a good idea. It's hard managing a lot of people when they're all trying to speak at the same time.
Yeah, thank God for NKC to show us how those things work, because I had no idea how half of it worked. Felt like a peasant. Oh, you press the button for 2 seconds. Oh, okay. Duh.
Good morning, Nico. What's going on?
Good morning, guys. Not much, not much. Kind of been like out of the loop. I missed last week, so you guys are talking about Clubhouse. I have no idea what went down, but I will tell you this: you started streaming out of nowhere the other day, Jess. I don't know if you noticed that.
What did I stream?
An earlier space. I commented. I'm like, is this going on now or and but nobody answered. So I'm like, okay, I don't even know if she's streaming or not.
I was probably testing something out. I did do like a test stream last week because I was having issues last week. But yeah, Nico, you weren't here last week. So just a quick rundown. Spaces was down for like 8 hours or something like that. And it happened to be, no, for like more, for like 14 hours. And it happened to be, Thursday night into Friday morning. So we had no choice but to either cancel or we went to Clubhouse.
So I'm sure it was a mess last week.
It was fun, but it was pretty intense.
It was different. If I want to say positively, it was different.
But yeah, they had cool features. They have emojis. You could put like GIFs as your profile pictures as like reactions to things. So that was pretty cool.
So you used to be on Clubhouse a lot, right? Hey, Tammy.
What's
Good
up,
morning.
Tammy?
Good morning,
Welcome.
Tammy.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey guys, guess what? So I just found out it's colder here where I'm at right now than Mars. So we're winning. We're like -9 and
Oh my
negative 30
God.
something with the wind chill. They said we're colder than Mars. I was dying. I'm like, well, I guess I could live
So,
on Mars.
do you have to wear a mask to go outside or something, like a ski mask? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like what's going on?
yeah, you kind of do. And Dave like shoveled a little path for the dogs this morning. It's more drifting snow, but even they will go out there for like a minute, and if they even last that long. So it's bad. It's really, really cold.
It's like 30 degrees here, and my dog doesn't want to go outside. I can only imagine over there.
Oh yeah, with it being negative, I think we warmed up a degree. I think it's like -7 now. It's stupid.
Yeah, welcome, Tammy. I'm glad you are not, -50 yet. But what is it? A blizzard that's coming? Is that what everybody's getting impacted by?
Yeah, and I didn't even know they named blizzards, but apparently they do. This one's Blizzard Elliott or Winter Storm Elliott. So we'll get like the lake effect. So it's still snowing here, even though it's like pockets of it, but it's the blowing and drifting. So the wind is in excess of like 50 miles an hour at times, wind gusts. And so that's what brings the wind chill. So it feels, if you walk outside, like it's like -31 plus. It's crazy.
I feel like it's always been a thing with them naming the winter storms, but I figured you guys gave them a name. Like they usually get a name once they pass you guys, and they're named once they once they get to the East Coast for
Once
some
they
reason.
get past the Midwest, we name these
Yeah, yeah,
bitches.
yeah. Yeah, you guys baptized them with a name, and then because
Nice.
I've always heard a name for the winter storms.
That is so funny. I'd never heard that before. I always think of hurricanes, but yeah, apparently this one's name is Elliot and it's a bitch. That's all I'm saying.
When is it supposed to hit exactly? Like tonight? Is that when it is?
No, it actually, for us here, it went through Chicago yesterday and us. So it's still impacting us. So we're still going to get it. The blizzard warning, I don't think ends until tomorrow at 1 p.m., I think. So it's making the lake cold. So we're getting all of the, obviously, the flurries off the lake. It's nuts. It's crazy. So hopefully it'll be okay for Christmas Day. People don't have to travel too far, but yeah, it's a hot mess.
Yeah, I know. I was reading that like a lot of flights are getting canceled and things like that. But yeah, I'm back home. So it actually my Wi-Fi was going out because it was raining this morning, but now the sun's back out. It's a warm 75 degrees outside. I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys.
I'm jealous.
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
jealous. I was just going to ask you, what's the temp there? 75. I should hop a plane, but no planes are going out today, so that's out.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you everybody for coming. We're glad to be back on Twitter Spaces a couple of days before Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas or if you don't, happy holidays to everybody. Just a friendly reminder that nothing said here is financial advice. We are not financial advisors or tax advisors or none of that. Quick reminder, again, I put up the Binance US link up there. If you're looking to sign up to a new exchange, no trading fees on ETH and BTC. And they also have a new cool pay feature where you can pay other users on Binance US without any fees. So make sure to check it out if you're interested in that. But yeah, what else? Everybody ready for the holidays?
I am ready. Go ahead, 500.
I could be more ready, but we'll make it.
Are you giving anybody crypto this year, or how's that working out? Or are you guys skipping over that?
Probably gonna skip over that. I'll give my I'll probably give my daughter some crypto, some NFTs. I don't know which ones yet, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm giving coffee, Colombian coffee. I don't think anybody wants to hear about crypto this year, so.
I know it's going to be interesting. I was going to do a post with the price comparison of BTC from last year. Let's see if we can just look it up and see what the difference is. In the meantime, DeFi, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to chime in on something?
GM, getting my coffee ready. I got a notification that you're live on Twitch right now. Is that you or somebody else?
Yeah, that's me. This is being streamed on Twitch.
Oh, cool, because I have a Twitch channel also. Are you a Twitch affiliate yet?
I'm not. I'm actually fairly new to Twitch.
Okay, cool. Do you have a Discord?
I do not have Discord. I have a Discord account. I haven't been in Discord in over 3 months. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest.
Okay, just because your Twitch community, and Twitter and Twitch, you can create like a Discord for that.
I hate Discord. I don't want a Discord. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's there's just trying to reuse some of the content from Spaces and put it out there. So I found a way, inexpensive to be able to like stream it on different platforms. If anybody's interested in like, I was thinking that maybe we should get all the people together that create content, like myself, Dal, other people in the community, maybe just talk about like how we do our setups and things like that. I think it would be helpful to see what everybody's doing and maybe find a more beneficial way. So maybe I'll set something up for like after the holidays, actually. To do that. But really quick, before I close out this app, I went back on CMC and I can check the price. What is the price? So it looks like Bitcoin last year on December 26th was $50,000, $50,802. So yeah, compared to 16,822. What is that? How much is that? 34,000 down? Am I doing that kind of?
I'm sick.
So it's about 40,000 down. But can I ask you a question,
Sure.
Jess? How are you gonna if you have one of your family members point this out to you at the table, right? How are you gonna come back to them with this now on Bitcoin?
Oh, they already have. So I wasn't home for a few months, and I came back next week. And when the whole what was funny is like when the whole FTX thing happened, like I had talked to my parents. They're like, "Oh, is everything okay?" I'm like, "Fine." But then I saw them in person, and my dad sat me down. He's like, "Seriously, is everything okay?" I keep on hearing about the crypto. I'm like, "Yes, everything's fine." I didn't have anything in FTX, so they're already aware that it's down. They're pretty up to date with what's happening in crypto. But yeah, anybody else want to comment on that? If not, we'll get it started.
I just want to say happy holidays, everyone, and hope everyone is going to be okay tomorrow with their families and things like that, even if the prices are so low.
Oh, thanks, Wolf. And I see Johnny up here too. What's up, Johnny?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Good to have you back.
Just working and listening. I'm not going to tell anyone about crypto or NFTs, not even my wife.
All right. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Good luck talking to your family members. I've already, gotten the talk about, what the fuck am I doing in crypto? So I've passed that. So good luck, guys. But yeah.
It's not possible. Everybody wants to talk about SBF and FTX, and isn't it all a scam? Isn't it all going down to zero? Like, who wants to have that conversation? Like, just let it die down.
Oh, yeah. And so let's talk about fucking SBF. Like, how do you guys feel that this MFer is home right now in his parents' basement, like most of the other crypto degens, with Wi-Fi, probably playing fucking League of Legends right now? Like, how do you guys feel about that? Maybe on his burner on Twitter Spaces.
He's a degen, right?
But it's the whole due process thing, though, man. Like, I get it, but let me ask you.
No, his bail was like 15 million or something.
His bail was 250 million, but
so that means he had to pay 25. Well, they didn't pay. They put
the bond. The bondsman had to give up 25 million, and he has to show up for court.
So he thinks he can pay $250 million bill.
No, he didn't. So let me just clarify so my understanding is that, the bond was the 10%, like Tammy said, is $25 million. And they used his parents' house, and I guess somebody else also put a portion of it, but the majority is backed by his parents' house. Now, the fucked up shit about this is, how do you think his parents got the house to buy this fucking mansion in Palo Alto, California? Like, come on now. Like, I'm...
Yeah, but that's only... So he just has to show up for court in the house. Like, I get it. You're 100% correct. But let me ask you a question, Jess. And it's the whole due process. Like, I believe that he should go to jail, to be honest with you. What I seriously believe, you don't even want to hear. Like, I would put him in a room and, like, take care of him and then put him in jail. But that's besides the point. Like... What if the whole thing is reversed and the guy is actually innocent? I'm not saying he's innocent, okay? But like, what if it's due process at this point? Like, let it go for now, and you'll see slowly they're gonna drain him. Right now, they're just trying to kill him financially too.
I understand that.
No, he paid bail, so he's good to go.
He didn't pay nothing.
That's the thing. He didn't actually I just wish he was here. DeFi, you got to mute yourself when you're not speaking because you got a lot of background noise. He was on Spaces a couple of weeks ago saying, I have 100K to my name. So I guess it's normal for people to put up their houses for collateral, but it just seems fucked up because I think we can all assume how his parents got that money to buy a fucking mansion in Palo Alto.
I mean, regardless, he was found guilty. He has a $250 million bill. He paid it, and now he's a free man.
He wasn't found guilty.
The guy...
He hasn't had a trial yet.
One second. I'm sorry. The guy that did the original Ponzi scheme, his family still has money. They still own a building. They own the lipstick building in the city. That's like the nickname for the building. It looks like lipstick. Like they end up keeping it's a loophole so that somehow the people that were involved but weren't involved, they end up living the same life. I believe it's some weird thing. That's just the way it is.
And I just wanted to add something else about it. So yeah, he's going to be confined to his parents' house. He does have to get court approval for engaging in any transactions over $1,000, excluding attorney fees, and he will have access to internet. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Do we think he'll start tweeting again? Just curious.
I don't know.
I don't think it's long till we see him back in spaces again. I hope so, because
right.
Don't you guys find it funny though? It's come like full circle. He's back in his parents' basement.
Facts.
But that's like the circle of life anyway. Like you start
that's like
out
a DGen. This is like a DGen documentary. The life of a DGen.
All right. But yeah, I mean, last week, or I don't even know, it's all been a blur, but you know, we come to find out that Caroline did snitch on him, and so did Gary Wang. So they've pleaded guilty. They're cooperating with the DeFi. You got to stop interrupting me, bro. Like when I'm talking. Now I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about Caroline and what's that other guy's name that snitched? Is it Gary?
Gary
Wang. So yeah, they pled guilty to federal charges, cooperating with the DOJ. So who do you guys think is next? I mean, we still got Dan Friedman, Sam Trabucco. Like, I don't think Sam Trabucco wasn't a part of this. Like, and if you guys don't know, just really quick, Sam Trabucco is the ex-CEO of Alameda that just quit maybe in August or July. So the person who Caroline took his job. Go ahead, Tammy.
I was going to say in researching it last night that they apparently, what they've done could have landed them like a 110-year sentence, but with them cooperating, I guess Caroline, I don't know about Gary, but Caroline, she won't face further criminal prosecution apart from the potential of tax violations. So her bail was set at $250,000.
Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
Two things. First, on bail, like there are way worse things about bail than horrible people getting to pay it, and that is people who can't pay it staying in jail for several months until they await their hearings. So bail needs tremendous reform, which is an interesting issue. But the other thing is, didn't they have? I remember seeing something. Yeah, of course, the news cycle is like so fast. But weren't they like being investigated for market manipulation as well? And if I remember correctly, if anyone remembers that, give me a thumbs up so I don't continue this line of thought.
They were manipulating the price of FTT. They didn't have any stop limits on their trade. So it was, and they still lost money. Go ahead.
But was there a connection to like Luna and all that stuff? Were they playing that? Because I had saw like, you know, of course there were so many bad theories going around that were completely unproven, but did they have anything to do with that kind of attack and manipulation as well?
There's a rumor that that's the case. Yeah. And the rumor is that there was a private conversation that CZ actually told SBF privately to stop doing that because it will come back to the entire market. And that might be one of the reasons CZ actually went after him so aggressively, because he didn't want to listen.
So, yeah, I feel like that should be talked about more because I have barely seen it. Although I've stopped seeing all the, you know, laundering money to Ukraine stuff, which is good. But I haven't seen enough of that. Because what's interesting is like, okay, let's say it comes out that he was heavily, you know, attacking Luna. Like, do we feel better about Do Kwon? Do we like let them off the hook a little bit? What do you guys think?
No.
Can I just touch on something? Because I wanted to lead into something like what Johnny was talking about, like, but in a different perspective. Um, so the reason why I even know who Sam Trabucco is because they were pulling off market manipulation on an ETH token that's supposed to go to Polkadot, but that's besides the point. But at the same time, I had noticed what was going on with osmosis and all that stuff because I was actually really interested in the Solana blockchain. I just never really got anything. I got 2 tokens on the Solana blockchain, and one of them, I don't even know what's going on. There was so much hype on it. The game is called Soul Chicks, right? But there were other things involved that were just way too pumped and just sat at a price, which was it was Serum, not osmosis, Serum. And I actually have Serum too from the launch, all that stuff. And it was just a very, very strange experience with all of those tokens. And the reason why I was giving you the hundreds, Johnny, is because what SBF was doing was he was pumping the market up. So instead of like shorting it, he was just inflating the market. He overinflated the market, and it still hasn't come out because they have the majority of Tether. They have, then on top of that, they have a lot of huge projects on the Solana blockchain, on the DeFi sector. You're 100% right, because this is like enormous what happened. And the Lunaterra thing was because they were over leveraged on Lunaterra as well, and they were trying to pump that as much as possible. So what the whole thing was with Jess mentioned earlier was that they had unlimited leverage on FTX. Alameda Research pretty much had the cheat code, and they were still losing money with unlimited leverage. You know, that's insane because
that's sad.
It is
sad.
But
it is.
But the whole unlimited leverage part is to even lose money on it. Do you have any idea how horrible it would have been if they would have just zeroed out everything by accident? Like everybody's leverage on the entire exchange, and do you know what would have happened overnight? It was a bunch of kids playing it like it was like opening up Pandora's box. We're kind of lucky it happened this way than what I'm talking about.
Yeah, great points. Also wanted to add, FTX or they owned shares in Robinhood, and it came out this week that people are arguing over $56 million of Robinhood shares. So who tried to get the shares? SBF tried to get the shares. BlockFi tried to get the shares, as well as an FTX creditor that was appointed in the Bahamas. So 3 people in the past week have tried to get after these Robinhood shares, including Sam Bankman himself.
Didn't he try to buy Robinhood in the summer? He did. He wanted to buy Robinhood in the summer.
I remember hearing some rumors about that. You are right. Yeah.
So I guess my question is, like, how much of the whole market was propped up by like an artificial FTT price?
I don't think, I mean, I haven't seen anything solid to say, this is how much. I don't think that analysis has been done. If anybody has seen it, feel free to post it. But I haven't seen anything concrete myself to see that.
Johnny, that's a question, but it's hard to figure that part out because it has to be followed from the FTT to whatever they got loans on, and like the USDT part is the part that's scaring me because I think they overinflated themselves into Tether.
Wait. So you saying that FTX own a majority of the Tethers in circulation?
Yeah. So what they were doing was they were getting loans against FTT on a token that was worthless. How are they getting the loans?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that relationship between FTT and Tether. I know there's always thought everything that goes bad somehow Tether is connected to it. I get your point that obviously if they're sitting on massive amount of stablecoin and they're using FTT as a collateral and they were getting older stablecoin, then Tether has to redeem it. But I don't see it. I don't think there's a direct connection between FTX and Tether. As far as I can tell,
no, there is no direct connection. You're right.
Yeah. So the greater issue, I think, is not necessarily even FTX anymore. there's a bunch of other actors who similarly were leveraging tokens to get access to capital they can invest, and now their margin position or they're over leverage. And so the
Yeah,
market keeps going down. The issue is a lot of other players might have to sell more tokens or might get liquidated. And so even if we remove FTX, the overall negative aspect of the market of people removing leverage, that's going to impact a lot of people. So people are talking about like drum trading and a bunch of other firms that are not necessarily doing anything malicious, but just because they were leveraged and the market is going down now, we could see more pain next few months.
But that's what I'm trying to like. That's why I said follow the FTT token to all the tether and then move on from there, bro. Like that's what I'm. Where is all the leverage? Like, yeah, like Johnny's asking for a clear how much money is out there. Follow. I'm saying Jess just said there's nothing out there right now, and I'm saying follow the tether that they have and whatever other stablecoin they have.
What about the synthetic coins? Because no one's really talking about that. Do you believe that they were creating synthetic tokens?
Serum. The synthetic DeFi token, Serum.
Well, they were also, it's my understanding, they also created synthetic AMC, was it an AMC stock? It's my understanding.
Oh, yeah, those synthetics. Yeah, they did. They had stock. Yeah, they had Tesla as well, and Apple.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because, I mean, if you think you're buying something and you're not actually purchasing it, and I mean, I don't see how that's not a bigger issue.
Yeah, but now it all makes sense. Oh, sorry, go ahead, 500. I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, weren't they also doing like some sort of synthetic Bitcoin or something like that?
There was so much shady shit going on, and it's just disappointing. We were all excited. Well, I was excited that he was in jail, and now to know that he's going to be home playing video games, like while so many people that are affected are going to be upset by this. Like it's tough to know that it's happening, and then we have fucking Gensler that's like loathing on this. I don't know if you guys saw the report. Now he's like, oh yeah, FTT is a security. It's such BS. Like, why didn't you say that 8 months ago? Now all of a sudden you know for sure. Like it's just such BS. And I put up some statements from him and from some congressmen against what he's doing, but it looks like he's coming down with the hammer now, and now everything's probably going to be a security.
Yeah, Christmas came early for the SEC.
They didn't FTX owe them like $30 million or some shit like that. So since they can't get their money from FTX, now they got to move on and find their next victim to exploit for more cash. Do you guys think this is the FTX thing? Do you guys think that'll have an impact on the XRP Ripple case?
I think it gives more leeway or more, like it makes the SEC looks more important than needed, right? Like congressmen are going to give the SEC more power. So I think it just creates a climate where people are going to be more favorable to stronger regulation. Anything the SEC does from now will look justified. All right, so it's going to be hard for anybody to win any case against them. I don't know how it impacts it, but I think in that climate, I wouldn't be surprised if that impacts that decision.
DeFi, go ahead, and then we'll circle back to Nico.
It's very critical that these things are happening now at the end of 2022. I really think it signals an end of an era, the whole degen era of DeFi, cryptocurrency, and the SEC going into 2023. I really think 2023 is going to be a better year. And I can't wait until, the SEC makes securities.
All righty. You're excited for securities. Go ahead, Nico.
So Ripple, the company, not XRP, they actually just got some sort of a contract where they're replacing Swift, and it's weird because this is where it confuses me, where I don't know where the SEC stands with this stuff, because Swift is an international type thing, and because that's how they do the banking, like cross-border banking right now with Swift, and the approvals and stuff like that, and somehow, so the software that Ripple makes has been approved for all that stuff. So that's not a promise that XRP is going to be used for that, but like in cases like that, it makes me think to myself, at least they might have a fair shot. Like it might not be like a ban hammer, like what Dow said. They might have a fair shot.
Yeah, and that quickly to that, I don't think it's about what's right or wrong. I think it's about who gets the benefit from that decision. And if you're the banking sector or lobbying, it makes 100% of sense for you to delay the adoption of crypto as much as possible. But that could bite the SEC back in the ass, or the American economy back in the ass, if most of the crypto space moves away, moves outshores, and we have those incredible regulations to prevent anybody from really using it. You look at the state of New York, it didn't stop other states from adopting crypto and moving forward. So it could be a short-term gain for the banking lobby, but long-term, if we have too strict a regulation, it's going to bite us in the ass.
Dow, you're 100% right, because look at every industry that's left the United States, how hard it has to get them back. I mean, barely any of the industries that have left have come back to the United States.
That's a great point. I rugged. I was able to reconnect. That was a close call. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if anything changes with, what people thought the outcome of the Ripple case was going to be, and also what this means for Ethereum, and for all the other, proof of stake tokens or coins. So yeah. We do have Brooke here. Good morning, Brooke. Dow, you wanted to chime in on that. I just threw Ethereum on the bus. I have to give you a chance to respond.
I was looking for DeFi Dan somewhere in the audience, but he's not here, so I have to play his part for now. Real quick, I think it was the SEC or the CFTC. I can't remember which one. Actually, earlier this week mentioned that both Bitcoin and Ethereum are commodities. I'm guessing it's going to be the CFTC because the SEC hasn't said anything about that. So it's a third time that a legal paper by a three-letter agency is saying that Ethereum is a commodity. So for now, it's safe.
So the only thing I would watch, I'm not trying to disagree with you, Dow. I'm just trying to tell you on who's gunning for Ethereum. I would pay attention to what's going on in New York, like with Letitia Adams or Letitia James. I forgot the last name exactly, but it's one of those two, Adams or James. I would just pay attention to what she tries to do, because anything that she does afterwards would go to a higher court. So like it might go federal afterwards. You get what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, I get that.
Welcome, Brooke. Good morning. How's it going?
Good morning, Brooke.
Hi, how is everybody? Oh, I sound like I
you
just
sound
woke
like
up.
You need coffee. What's going on over there?
I always need coffee. Do you ever just wake up and not really have anywhere to go? So you do your emails and your texting or whatever just from bed. So yeah, I've been up for 2 hours, but I've been working just laying in bed for 2 hours. So that means I haven't had coffee.
Sure. Is it freezing where you are?
Oh my God, Jess, it's so cold. So cold in Idaho right now. And I mean, it's not like it's never been cold. Every year it gets cold. I don't know why I'm surprised. This is going to make my 19th year in Idaho, and I'm from Chicago. This isn't I didn't come from warm place, but it is so cold. I have to wear 2 pairs of leggings, 3 pairs of socks just to go from my house to the car. It's so cold. Anyway, but it's almost Christmas and there's snow on the ground and there's skiing and Idaho is beautiful. So that's that's the best part of it. It's waking up to look out your window and it's just snow everywhere and mountains, and it's great.
Well, welcome. What do you think about the news about Caroline and SBF, getting bailed out and home with his parents? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not surprised. None of this is surprising to me. I don't even think I didn't even chuckle at it, because I would with other situations, because I just kind of saw this coming. It's all playbook bullshit, government payoffs, and it's just playbook. So it's sad to me that we still, live in this world that, none of us really have control over anything that happens. So I think it's complete bullshit, but I'm 100% not surprised. Are you guys surprised? Is this newsworthy?
Not really.
No.
I'm yawning at it. Yeah, it's not surprising.
It's sad. I really feel like I wanted to trust so many things lately, and it's just human greed and human, when we insert that human bullshit into anything that's good, it's going to ruin that sort of top layer. But I will believe in blockchain and crypto for the rest of my life, for the rest of my son's life. And, this is, blockchain didn't break, humans broke.
That's facts. DeFi, you had your hand up. Did you want to chime in?
I was just thinking about all the people that went to court in 2022 and how, all these court cases and stuff. And I just really hope things change in 2023.
All
And
right.
celebrate the new year hard.
Nice. I like how you added that hard in there.
Yeah, I was reading something this morning. Let's see, where is it? About, oh shit, my Wi-Fi's tripping today because it's raining here, so I can't pull it up. What's up, Blue? We'll go to Blue and then we'll see if I can get this working.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for giving me the mic. I know this will come across as a little abrasive, and I mean no offense to this at all. And take a second to kind of reflect on it and see whether it's valuable to you or not. I mean, in reality, it's just kind of proof in the pudding. It shows regardless of what system is generated with positive intentions, the powers to be will always gain control over it. They tend to have the last say. So the individual that just spoke and said in regards to what took place and the loss of faith in humanity, don't put faith in humanity beyond your immediate family and your close friends. And those close friends pretty much fall in the same category as family, right? So primarily what you, in my opinion, should do is never abandon DeFi or crypto and digital assets because it generates an opportunity. Just generate a realistic perspective. Even though it was created by the people, it'll probably more than likely not be in control of the people. So never take away the ability of becoming economically self-sufficient through knowledge learned that you cannot gain in any type of formal education. Continue to pursue your understanding of the charts and movements. Do not become married to one individual asset. Don't look for any type of solution to be generated as far as making life a complete whole circle of digital or economical processing. Use it to better your life and family. That's it. Buy it, trade it, capitalize, take advantage, and have no loyalty or allegiance to anything that has a little picture of an emoji and a group of people raising their hands in the air saying, we're bringing down the banking system. It's great for conversation, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Blue, real quick. Let's take a step back real quick. The issue of FTX was when you send your money there, you're sending it to a server that has a database, and anybody who is a DB admin can tell you whatever you want, and it'll show on your screen, or you have 10 Bitcoin, but you have no idea what's going on chain. So I get your general picture, right? I think is 100%. But in the case of FTX, actually makes the case for crypto. It makes the case for putting things on chain. And I know that some people disagree. The Bryans of the world, that BTC Maxi say it's all bullshit. But if it's on chain, you can't change it. Unless you have the private key, you can't move those funds. So that's the whole point of DeFi, is that you don't have to rely on centralized exchanges like FTX.
I did want to.
Well, yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just going to add one last thing real quick. I mean, that's fine and dandy, and I agree. I mean, obviously, instant peer-to-peer transactions, no 24-hour delay. Nobody's reaping the benefits of interest while you're waiting 3 to 4 days to receive your return. I mean, those are all positive benefits. But in reality, there are 2 very vital, possibly 3 very vital weaknesses that renders all DeFi mute. If you control the bridge, it doesn't matter what you have in your wallet. You'll never get it to a usable resource. That's it. If you shut off the bridge, there's no usable resource. Second is energy. Yes, there's a whole bunch of different solutions that are up for debate, and that's great. At the end of the day, you're not mining nothing unless you have a connection to that mathematical equation to solve. So you have 3 weak links within this whole system that can make it 100% useless outside of a wallet that shows you a couple values that you can't do. It's kind of like being invested in something where there's no liquidity. Yeah, I can say you have $1 million, but if there's no liquidity, you don't have nothing but a bunch of digital numbers.
Well, I mean, I think Blue Collar brings up some great points. Something that I kind of thought about this week, because we've been seeing a lot of announcements about, oh, now you could buy with your credit card. So like Uniswap announced that now you can use MoonPay to like load up your Uniswap account or whatever. You can use PayPal to load up your MetaMask. So like, I do think Blue has a point, because when I see these things, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good for mass adoption. But again, we're still relying on centralized entities to bring this mass adoption. So what is the point of crypto when we have to get through all these hurdles just to get through the baby steps? So I'm still bullish on crypto long term, but seeing all these repetitive news, now you can buy with a credit card. What else? You can buy NFTs now with fucking credit cards, you know? Like, how did we get here?
Because we need liquidity. Like, so we're at the point where liquidity is getting drained, and now all of a sudden everybody's accepting credit cards and liquidity is needed. So they're going to try and get it from any way possible. That's pretty much the only thing I see magically all of a sudden, you know? Like, I get it, the tech got better, but like, they need liquidity. They've had this for a while. They just rolled it out now because they're noticing all the liquidity drying up.
The only problem is as rates go up, liquidity goes down. It continues to go down.
Yeah,
People
I know.
Spend 8%, 20% on a credit card to buy crypto that's not making them any money. So until the Fed fixes the rates and brings them back down, it's going to be a bumpy ride for the next 6 months to a year.
I was looking for that Uniswap article to put it up there. But yeah, it's interesting to see all these on-ramps. I guess is good, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what else did I have on here. Yeah, and speaking about like MetaMask and things like that, MetaMask, they do have a D app on the web, so you could go on the MetaMask I believe it's dab.dab. I'll put up the link. And now they did enable swapping on the web. So now you could swap from the Portfolio D app, and they also enabled it for layer 2s. I know Dell's going to be happy about this, for both Arbitrum and Optimism. So you can automatically, in the drop down, you can just change to those networks. So it's good to see. I know Dell's very excited about seeing the rise of the L2s.
The L2s are winning. There's more activity in aggregate on all the L2s than on Ethereum L1. So if you add Immutable X, Arbitrum, Optimism, Starkware, and ZK Sync, all those together are now having more transactions. So the migration is actually happening, and I get the point about the bridges because obviously you have to KYC if you want to use MinPay and all the services. But we're reducing the friction. The ideal scenario is you don't even need a bridge because you have this on-chain banking that you don't need to live crypto. You just all the services that you have from Bank of Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you have it on chain as an on-chain bank account. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But in the meantime, as people still have bank account, we need to have bridges. And the smaller friction, if you don't have to go from your bank to Coinbase or your bank to Binance to then a wallet, you can directly go from your bank to a wallet. It's not a final solution, but it reduces the friction.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, when we talk about the L2s, like obviously Polygon has had a phenomenal year in the as a scaling solution for Ethereum. But I was seeing on the timeline, I think it was Gamesy, that he had tried to bridge funds to Polygon, and it had been like 3 hours. So if Polygon is thriving for mass adoption at the retail scale, like waiting 3 hours is completely unacceptable to be able to bridge funds. And I've used the Polygon bridge before, and I'm not going to say it's taken 3 hours, but it's definitely taken a little bit of time that I've been like, hey, shit, where are my funds at?
Yeah, but Polygon is not yet a true layer 2, right? It's a side chain. They're moving to become a layer 2, but yeah, if we add Polygon as a layer 2, then yeah, the amount of transaction is way above what we see on Ethereum. But I think sometime next year is when they're ready to be a true layer 2, and they'll move slowly all those different protocols and platforms off of their sidechain onto the actual layer 2 solutions.
Yeah, and shout out to Polygon. They did get featured on Yahoo Finance for the Starbucks. Oh shit, the Starbucks integration. I'll put that little clip of the video of what they reported. So the Odyssey program. Go ahead, Nico. I saw you had your hand up, and then DeFi.
Yeah. So I wanted to say something else before you guys went deep into the Polygon stuff. So I actually started playing a game that's on the Polygon network, but I haven't bought any crypto. So it's a game that they remade, an old MMORPG, and it's so far I've seen it's free to play. The thing is, though, I don't know if it's the devs or the fact that it's connected to the blockchain, but there's problems with the game, and the game is actually really, really good. I think the game, if they fix the problems, it would be really, really good. But it's the same problems that I see over and over, and it's transactional, and they're gonna have to figure out how to do this with the layer 2s. I'm gonna be honest with you. The game itself is great, but there's so many problems that I don't know how people are going to be able to there are people playing it. That's the crazy thing. There is an ecosystem, but it's just I don't know how people are going to be able to play it with the problems that I saw. So let's just see. Let's see how this works.
Yeah, great point. Go ahead, DeFi, and then Blue and Johnny.
I know a lot of people who trade stocks like crypto or trade crypto like stocks. I did a Twitter poll recently. Best stocks going into 2023. Apple, Tesla, and some others. I'm sure you guys have heard before. Man, I wish I would have bought the Apple stock, or I wish I would have bought the Tesla stock early on. I wish I would have bought the McDonald's stock or something like that early on. And I'm sure some people say the same thing about Bitcoin. I wish I would have bought Bitcoin early on. I wish I would have bought Ethereum early on. Polygon, I wish I would have bought Polygon early on. Is there any stocks that you guys see or?
Are you smoking something?
We're gonna. No,
what are you smoking, man?
We're gonna keep it on crypto, but thanks DeFi for chiming in. And yeah, I would not take financial advice based upon a Twitter poll. But again, do your own research. Go ahead, Blue, and then Johnny.
Thank you so much. And just to touch a little bit on what DeFi says, if you look at the chart values where we are, how we receded $3.7, $3.9 trillion to below 800 billion, you're kind of living in that moment. So you get a second chance of that. It's just how fast it progresses, how fast the liquidity comes back to the ecosystem is anybody's guess. Is it right away? Is it a year or two? But in my opinion, when you're referring to crypto opportunity, I believe we're back at that. I mean, Polygon is a $2 plus, 250 all day long. Same with ADA and Solana and things of that nature are very positive investments that had historical values that anybody would be happy to re-achieve if you bought in at this level, in my opinion. But just to touch base on the introduction of PayPal, credit card usage and things of that nature. I mean, when you have a little bit of financial issues at the government level, the first thing they do is, they seize your assets in the bank and they shut down all your cards. Second thing is that's an instant fast track to doxing. I personally believe that the second you put money in a custodian and shift it to a wallet, you're already doxed, but everyone seems to be in denial. What powers the government has to gain access to that information and or to use that against you, that's left to lawyers and people that are more intelligent than I. But once you start adding that type of purchase power from a centralized entity, you're 100% doxed. Every transaction you make is 100% traceable and trackable. So it's another thing that's kind of being presented to us as we move forward, hoping that it stays decentralized as it slowly morphs into a hybrid of both. Just my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point. I also read that Visa is proposing the use of smart contracts, and it's supposed to be enabled on Ethereum. So a lot of like credit card integration, which is strange. What's up, Johnny?
I got a question for everybody. So a lot of, like during the pump or whatever from before, there were a lot of like second wave, like second generation games that like got funded by people who had made big games that are now like ready to release. But the market's shit. Like if you had a project that was like ready to release, would you release it now or would you wait till like Q2? Like what do people think about like the people who were ready to deploy and get started right when everything went to shit? Do you just keep trudging along or do you wait?
I'd like to chime in. I would wait personally. I don't think we have the user base for it. I was reading something about Decentraland, which is like, yeah, Decentraland shit, right? But it's a big name. The current report shows that the active daily users for Decentraland was 810 users. Okay, what? I'll check the market cap for that. But imagine if Decentraland can't get people in their fucking shit, like what chance are these other games are they gonna have unless they're really good games and not focused on the play to earn and they can bring in gamers from outside of crypto. But I don't think there's enough people in the space to have a high enough daily active user count.
Yeah, Decentraland is empty town. There's no one there. It's a great project in theory, but it's not fun. And I'll be quick. I think the bigger issue for play to earn and GameFi in general is that they're not as fun as your Call of Duty, your GTA, your Cyberpunk. And until they are as fun, people are just playing to earn the money. And the issue is they're not sustainable economy because the money has to come from somewhere. And it's usually coming from the new players to the older players. So it's not I think that space has a lot to offer, but there's a lot of problems we have to resolve. So it's going to take time. And I think to your point, if you're a game company and you're looking to release a game, you probably want to wait until there's more of a positive outlook for NFTs and there's a game that start to pick up the activity and provide like more positivity in the space.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a community already, because we could say like Yuga Labs and the other side land, it seems like they've been putting out announcements about something that's coming up, but they're like the biggest NFT brand in the space. They already have a community, but I think to like start a new project and try to grow community and get users, it's going to be very tough right now. I mean, half the people that we know from Twitter are fucking gone. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Nico.
So if you're capable of attracting the people that are still here, I would rather get into that project because Reason being, and the reason being is because for the next bull market, it's going to be suggested to a lot of newer people, especially if it's a project that actually was capable of creating something in the middle of something like this, you know. So it's a weird thing. I have to say, Johnny, if it's a handpicked project, if I like it, there are a lot of projects that I feel like, all right, you know, they're down like 90%, but they're still working on something. They're still doing something. Or even there's projects that have released recently, zero creator fees, 100% free, and they just try to attract people, and that's it. Like there's a lot of projects out there that are still releasing right now, and they're not really looking to create any sort of liquidity. They're just building, or they were already bootstrapped and they just need to get people that are currently still in the space. So if you're capable, there are other ways of doing this. Like I opened up a business, dude. I'll give you an example. When I opened up my woodworking shop, it was right after 2008. This is the perfect time to open a business. And then right after that, bro, I started a business. I had 3 carpenters. I ended up with about 8 carpenters, 4 sanders. I ended up with 25 employees, jumping from job to job, from Tribeca to the West Village to Midtown, bro, by 2011. Like this is the perfect time to open up a business. I'll be honest with you, to do anything if you have any sort of liquidity. You know, this is the time for you to see like, yo, hey, I know what I'm doing. The bear market, fuck the bear market. Like I'm not looking for anything. I just want to get to this point, build what I'm building, and then you know what? When things get good, things get good. This is the right time to build. This is the right time to do everything.
Dow, go ahead. Go ahead and chime in. Great point, Nico.
Yeah, just to touch back on what you were saying about Visa, that sounds suspicious, but if you read what they've done is they use a new feature that's available in layer 2 that's called account abstraction. And to make it really simple, is right now your account is different than a smart contract, but on layer 2s, the idea is to make all the account based on smart contract. And you can enable all kinds of new features like social recovery. You can ask your friends. You don't need a private key. You just ask 2 or 5 of your friends to do some recovery. You can do multi-factor authentication as well. You know, like all kinds of features that you see for Web2 wallets, that's going to be available for Web3 wallets. And what Visa is enabling is auto payment. So imagine if you have like a subscription or an invoice, you can automate some of those activities. So it's an interesting use case. We'll see what Visa does with it, but they're not just looking at Ethereum. They're looking at specifically things that are enabled by layer 2s, ZK rollups, and stuff like that.
Great points. I'm going to go to DeFi since he's new, and then Blue, I'll circle back to you. What's up, DeFi?
Yo, what's up? Hey, thank you for bringing me on. Yeah, I just want to make a couple comments and probably just tack on to what Nico was saying about opportunity and the time being the opportunity. I think some of these projects that are thinking about launching right now, like the gaming projects, it's really all about building. And as we look to the next, we look to 2023. I'm from the United States. I think I detect, a lot of people are from the U.S. here. But as we look to 2023 and then beyond, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of necessary regulation come down. And if people want to launch projects or a company, let's say a tech-based company, Web3-based company, game-based company, consider actually issuing tokens in the traditional sense that you would, where you're issuing equity and having the proper disclosures with that token without this pretense of, well, the token's going to be token utility in the game, or you're going to be able to play to earn in the game. And basically it would be used as a financing vehicle with equity in the company in the traditional sense. And I think that's kind of where the opportunity is right now, is to really just create an environment for startups and use tokens in the traditional sense as equity in the company, and not looking at kind of a let's get out in 3 months type of a thing. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I think we have to be also realistic. Like, a lot of the projects are not going to survive this. I put a quick article in the chat box about 15 companies, and these are companies. These aren't even tokens. If we talk tokens, it's like 3,000 tokens that have died, but just 15 crypto companies that died this year: Wonderland, Terra, Babel Finance, Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, CoinFlex, Celsius, Vald, Nuri, Hodlnaut, Compute North, Freeway, FTX, Salt, and BlockFi. That's a long list of big companies that failed. So not everything's going to make a comeback. I just want to make sure that, we're hearing both sides, because yeah, some things it's a good time to buy, but some things are not going to survive. Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with Jess and Nico, two different perspectives. Obviously, right now for startups that are dependent on customer-based liquidity, it's going to be very challenging. But from Nico's perspective, you do not want to figure out your bugs and your glitches when you are on the main stage of an audience you're trying to captivate. You're going to want to solve all those scalability issues. Gentlemen previously mentioned some games on Polygon and how they're good, but they just have some glitches. They have some things they need to refine. It really is what I call staying power market. You need to have capital. You need to have money. Hopefully anyone that's bringing a project to the table was able to utilize the previous market that you could pick any asset, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and do pretty well with. So right now, it's a perfect opportunity to release something. I don't suggest that you release your greatest and your best. You want to save that for a captivating audience, but something just to get your foot in the door, to get a footprint, like Nico was saying, started off by himself, turned to 8, turned to 25. If that took place in a very busy market where competition was fierce, any small mistake generates negative publicity. You can make 1,000 customers happy, but for some reason, those 2 customers you don't make happy seem to stick with you. So right now is a great time for scalability, refinement. Hopefully you have some staying power and some liquidity behind you to do so. If not, recognize the market you're getting into and possibly not dropping the best you have to offer, using something as a building block and a structure that you're able to refine to integrate your best advertisement when the market's conducive.
Great points. Really quick, before I get to the hands, I did want to say what's up to Leo. Leo, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I missed you and the team, and a week fucking feels like a year. I don't. We just trying to figure out Twitter.
Oh, big Leo.
Missed you too. Welcome
What's
back.
up?
Where have you been?
Oh my God, just grinding at work and just trying to stay afloat. But yeah, it's been a crazy month, and can't wait for it to be over.
How's it going for you guys, Leo?
It's the government sure knows how to shut shit down. I tell you that much.
Don't they know?
Yeah, this fucking inflation. I think the rate's the way to fix it. I don't know. It's just, it's yeah, they're worried about crypto, but they got to be worried about something else. I mean, because they're just fucking this whole thing up. And it's not just here, one side or the other. It doesn't, Republican, Democrats, whatever you want to call it. It's just in general.
Yeah, crypto Twitter has turned into like political Twitter. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because when we had those downs back, year, 2 year, whatever it was, and when it was down because, and we made, we laughed at it, but now with politics, it's just like when you go into space, you're like, okay, what's to talk about now? Who are we gonna slander, or what politician did this or that? It kind of not for me anymore.
And I think it's going to ramp up, in the coming months and in the coming year. It's just going to ramp up more. Compassionate, go ahead, and then we'll circle back to Nico. But thanks for coming by, Leo. Appreciate it. Good to have you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that what Blue Collar was talking about. Video game developers used to put out a beta version, and I don't know if are they doing that with these Web3 games. I mean,
So
that
there,
might be a good
the
way
game,
to.
the specific game I was talking about before, they
Yeah,
released the token and it was the beta version. But the game, look, the game is very well put together. It's a remake of a game from the '90s, but there's so many glitches in it that it's kind of not playable at some point. So like, it's kind of weird the situation that the game is in because it's a really good game. It's an MMORPG. They created an
yep.
entire world. It's
Do they have a like a set date that they plan on releasing the full version, or like any
so
fixing the glitches? Have they
I'll be
said
honest with you. I've been in the token since the launch. It launched last year, and I didn't start playing it until a month ago, right? Because I had the tokens on the side. I'm like, let me see, and I didn't even use the tokens. I'll be for the game. I'll be honest with you on that one so far, because I saw the glitches and all that. It looked to me more like they wanted me to buy an NFT so I can use that character in the game, and that's it. But they already provide a free character, so there is a free to play notion to it already, and that's where I'm like, okay. And the game is playable to a certain extent, but other than that, like some of the glitches, because I played it on mobile, and I played it on PC. On my PC, it's not playable at all, and my PC is not that old. And on mobile, it's just a little. It's got its little problems. Like
Yeah.
it's not that bad on mobile. I'll be honest with you, but it's got its problems.
Do you see it as more of just like a quick buck, a quick earner for them?
Not this one, no, not necessarily. They're gonna have to earn me to say it's not. So far, they're gonna have to earn that with me. But so far, what I see, because it's all in development, bro. Like a lot of people want everything to be done yesterday, and it's like, yo, I just finished telling you I got the token last year, and I didn't start playing the game until like a week ago.
Yeah.
Because I didn't give a shit when I bought the token. I'm like, yo, the game looks pretty good. Like they had something going already, and they had an ecosystem. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see how this works, how this plays out. I didn't spend a lot of money on the token either.
That's cool.
Great points.
But can I get to the point that I wanted to make? I had my hand.
Land the plane. Land the plane. Yeah.
No. I'm completely different point. I wanted to get back to what you were talking about before. That's why I had my hand up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you sat there and you said, like, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. 95%, 99%, whatever the case is. Like these projects are not going to survive. But here's the deal. Like, just to give an example from the bull market, from the first bull market, let's say there were 100 projects and 5 survived. Then the next bull market, there was 1,050 survived, and now we're at 10,000 and 500 survived. So it's not completely like, oh, only 1 or 2 things are going to survive into the next bull market. Because some people look at it as everything is going to fucking close down and everything, and crypto is just completely gone. And it may or may not be only Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, we can't just be complete doom and gloom.
Great points. Great points. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm ready to move on to 2023 and, keep an eye out on the new narratives and seeing where we're going to go with that. What do I want to chime in one? Yeah, I had invited Brian up to see if he wanted to comment on this, but I did see that Craig Wright, which is the BSV guy that claims that he is Satoshi, he, after the court ruling that he didn't have enough proof to say that he was Satoshi, he came out and announced that he no longer cares if people think he's Satoshi or not. So it looks like he's gonna stop saying that he's Satoshi, which is good to hear because I don't think he's Satoshi.
I don't either at all. But I did know when I was reading about that as well that so he's basically done with the court battle, but they did note that he hasn't said that he still doesn't believe he's Satoshi. So he may still be saying that, but as far as the court battle, he's giving up on that. But he made the comment that he really doesn't care anymore what people think of him other than his family and his wife. So
Yeah, and it's weird timing because the BSV community was attacking me this week for no fucking reason. So now, and then I saw the article and I'm like, oh, of course they're in a fucking bad mood. Like, it's official. You guys have been lied to, and now you can't deny it. So come at me, Hector. And
yeah, where's Hector?
Where's Hector at?
We need to summon him. We said BSV. I can't believe they were attacking you. Girl, where was I? I've been so busy this week. I would have thrown hands.
So the real Satoshi has a bunch of Bitcoin, right? Obviously. If this guy was real, why don't he show us? Say, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to move a percentage of Bitcoin to this wallet. Watch the transaction. I'll move it. You know, that's how you can tell this guy's real or not.
So apparently he lost the keys or something. That's what his story is.
No, it's even better. He didn't lose the keys. He stomped on the hard drive that contained the keys. That's his official story.
Oh, he benevolently did that.
That's his official standing in front of a court under oath testimony. He said, I don't have the keys because I stomped on the hard drive.
Is it in a garbage dump somewhere?
There actually is a guy that has some keys in a garbage dump, and it's worth like a couple $100 million, and he's like begging the city or whatever to let him dig around in the trash.
Oh yeah, he wanted to get that robot dog to search for him, but he got like denied or some shit.
Yeah, the court denied it.
Sad, because they're probably just gonna do it themselves.
Well,
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
They clear out that garbage wherever they dump the garbage. It gets cleared out like once a year, or I don't know how often, but it gets cleared out and so that new trash can come in. So it could have already been moved, is what I've heard.
But
yeah.
Brian, what is the narrative that the BSV community is going with now that, you know, it's like clear Craig Wright is not Satoshi?
Just there is no narrative. It's like a cult with no end in sight. Like for some reason they have like this idea in their head, like, oh, if we win all these court cases and we can get Craig to we can get a court to say Craig is Satoshi, like all of a sudden he's magically Satoshi. It's like, even if Craig somehow magically wins one of these cases and some stupid judge says, yeah, you know what, I believe him, I think he's Satoshi, it doesn't change the fact that he can't move the private keys. He can't do anything. So what's the end goal here? What is the goal?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is no goal. It's just a cult. They're literally just worshiping this guy.
I wish Hector was here. I'm making prayers in my head for Hector to appear, right? But let's move BSV to the side, right? I did hear maybe this week or last week. Hold on.
Yes, it's like talking to a brick wall.
A quick question for Brian, right? I heard, I think it was sometime last week. I wish I knew the name. It's a big Bitcoin influencer who's responding to questions around Lightning Network, and due to some lack of capacity, he was open to the idea of talking, right? Just open to the idea of talking about bigger blocks. Have you heard that conversation?
Yeah, Peter Todd. Yes, amazing. Nobody cares. Peter Todd can go and fork the code and do whatever he wants to. It doesn't matter what people say, dude. He can go and create the fucking tail emissions and the bigger blocks or whatever. The thing is, he has to convince everyone else to do it too. There's nothing stopping you from doing whatever the hell you want to do with it. So Peter Todd and Peter Wheel and Satoshi himself came out and said, we need bigger blocks. He has to convince literally everyone else that we also need bigger blocks. So they can say whatever they want to say.
But you get that he wasn't just saying it to say, right? His assessment was that in case the Lightning Network doesn't succeed, right? Because there's some issues, right? Maybe it's going to work, but for now there's some doubts to whether it's going to be sustainable as the layer 2 for Bitcoin. If that doesn't work, his option was to say, well, yeah, let's bring that conversation back. Would you be open to that? And do you assess that Lightning Network is working, is fine, there's no issues? Or do you agree as well that there's some issues like network?
There's issues. I don't know who you talk to that says no issues. Well, actually, I do know who you talk to. You talk to the people that are Satoshi is the second coming of Christ, and Bitcoin is perfect. It's the Immaculate Conception, and I know what you're talking about. But that's not reality. The reality is Lightning Network does have problems, just like any other piece of software in existence. It has problems, but the potential and what it's doing and how it's working outweighs the downsides. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that the question is, all those issues inherent to Light Network, or the things that you guys can fix over time, right? And if it's based on the way it's designed, i.e. payment networks, and there's a tendency for them to create nodes that have more power than others, especially if you have to run your own node and your own watchtowers.
They don't have more power.
Well, they have more routes, right? They're more. If you were to be a regular user and try Light Network, it would make sense for you to use one of those routes and use like a custodial wallet, not having to run your own node, not having to run your own watchtower, and knowing how to.
Yeah, but it gives you the option of doing it however you want to, which is ultimately what we need. And like the problem with the current system is like it's a walled garden where you can't go and create DAO bank and then just start transacting on the Swift system by yourself. Like you need a bank to do it for you. On the Lightning Network, you have the ability to do it both ways. So if you don't want to trust a custodian or whatever, or there's even some people have already created ways that you could manage the channels, kind of like you would do it on Ethereum, honestly, where it's not self-custodied, but they give you the access to custodying it yourself. So the element of trust is you basically have to trust like the company or whatever that's promising me back up my private key. Like, you know what I mean? Like they give you the private key and they give you like an API or whatever that you can play around with your channels and you can manage it yourself, but you're not the one that ultimately has the node with the channels on it. You know what I mean? So there's different solutions that have been created. And like, that's why I like it, because it's not trying to shoehorn everybody into just doing one thing. Like, oh no, we have to be decentralized. Everybody has to do it this way. Otherwise it's wrong. Like, no, you can do it however you want to do it. If you want to trust a custodian, that's fine. If you want to do like an in-between solution, that's also fine. If you want to do like completely self-custody out in the woods in Canada with a shotgun barrel pointed at your door because you don't trust anybody, then you can do it like that too.
Sorry about that. I put up a little poll in the chat to see who here has used the Bitcoin Lightning Network, interested to see those results. So if you want to go in there and drop a vote, it would be interesting to see.
Actually, Jess, let's talk about my shill of the week, which is what I'm sure you've been seeing everybody talking about, which is Nostr. You got any thoughts on it? Also, by the way, it's integrated with Lightning Network.
Nostr, is that the DeFi shit that they're building?
It's a social network.
Oh, wait, so let me hear what your thoughts on it are, because I'm sure you've seen people talking about it.
Another social network. That's my thoughts about it. I'm not going to Mastodon. I'm not going to fucking, what's the other one that everybody's going to? I'm not doing it. I don't care.
Isn't it blue something?
Tell us what Nostr is though, Brian.
So you're kind of right and kind of wrong at the same time. It's not another social platform. It's a protocol, like the internet stack itself. It's just a set of rules for like these little servers or whatever of how they transmit information. And it was created with the intention of, yes, creating a decentralized alternative to Twitter. But because the network is so simple, it can be used for more. Like people have already created a decentralized chess app. There's a guy who created a decentralized Telegram. More likely in the future, they're already talking about adding native video integration and stuff like that, which means you can create a decentralized YouTube in the future. And it's a very promising thing. I'm not saying like it's going to be like, oh, you just drop Twitter, that's it, we got the solution. But I think it's worth checking out, especially because you don't have to make an account. Like literally to get on it, you just hop on it, push a button.
Vitalik were tweeting about?
Was Vitalik tweeting about it?
He was tweeting about Mastodon.
Oh God,
I just want to like find out, when everybody's like building these things and they throw around this decentralization, like what is it? How does somebody own their own data? Like that's always been my, like that's what throws me off, is like, do you,
it's a great question.
Is it on chain? Like if I'm creating TikTok videos, everybody's always asked me like, do I own my own, videos? Well, no, like I never thought that I did. Like that's ridiculous. But
okay, so that's a great question, Brooke. Let's talk about it. So the reason why
I
network...
wasn't done. Hold on. So if I want to, like, I'm a technologist. I've been in tech since the 90s, right? So I understand how this all works. I have my own server that's completely air gapped. I understand owning of data. So if you've got something like Mastodon, we're still putting trust in Mastodon. And now I'm done.
Sorry, I apologize. It's just that it excites me when I talk about things that I get into. Sorry.
Same. Love it.
Dow,
but
go ahead, Brian, and then Dow and RN.
Yeah, no, it's a legitimate concern, and I've already talked to some people that like bring up this concern. But the idea, I don't know if it's gonna work, but the idea seems to be that it gives you ownership of your own data by creating a free market for that data. So essentially, everybody can host a relay, which is like a server, like you have it at home. You can have one, I can have one. Everyone can do one, and the users, you and I, can put our data on any one of those servers that we choose to. And then depending on what server is offering us like a better user experience, that is obviously going to be the one that users migrate to. So it creates quote unquote ownership of your data by basically giving it out or allowing you to give it out to as many people as possible. And then essentially like a free market dynamic develops where if you have one server that's being a piece of shit and banning everybody or whatever, you migrate instantly like to another one because your account is basically just tied to a private key. So if you have the private key and you enter it on another relay, all of your information is there. All your posts, all your followers, everybody's still there with you if you get banned on one of them. That's the idea.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, man. I'm not even hating on it. I think it sounds interesting because what Vitalik was talking about was something similar. On Ethereum, we have something called the Lens protocol. It's built by Ivy, and what they do is, I think it's a different vision, but it's something similar. Where basically, if you're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you have a social graph. The relationship that you have between your friends, the content that you create, tweets and comments, things like that, right? It's all a graph. And so right now, it is those companies that host it on the database. So when you're trying to leave, you have to ask for permission to get your data back, right? They can sell it, they can do whatever they want. They own it. So the idea in those I don't know how to pronounce it, but in Less Protocol, I think it's similar where you own that social graph, and then from that point of view, you can move wherever you want. If one day you like Twitter and you want to move to alternative to Twitter, you can do that, and they can't stop you from moving because you're the only person that owns that data. They can ask for permission to borrow your data for that time that you use the service, but you can imagine that developers who want to create new social experiences no longer have to ask permission to Facebook and Twitter to use their APIs. They can directly provide a platform, and you log in with, in the case of Lens, your NFT that represents you and your social graph, and everything on that platform can be an NFT as well. A post
and on Nostr, it's a private key. So like to your point where like, oh, you can't take your account with you on Twitter or whatever. Like since the servers don't have your private key, because obviously we all know how private keys work now. Like the only one that has access to that key is you. So if you say, okay, Dow's server is banning me for saying stupid shit and I don't like it anymore, I just stop posting on it and I go and put my private key on a well, you don't put it in the server itself, but that's getting into the weeds of it. But basically, yeah, you take your private key, you go to another server and you're like, this server's like, oh, okay, like I'll let you post whatever you want. And essentially the idea is that, yeah, it creates a free market dynamic for the data that we're giving these companies for free. You just create a market for it.
But is it that you're putting data out, or I'm sorry, that is this about like going somewhere and not, being worried about getting banned, or is it about owning like your content, your words,
So you own your content, Brooke. I wanted to get into this part because there's a confusion here. I'm sorry, but like these guys are talking strictly about data, but your content you own. So here's the deal. I've gone through this. All right. I had somebody straight rip my YouTube videos, the ones with 500,000 and 400,000 views and 250,000 views. They straight ripped them. I had to go through a process, free too, to get them taken down. All right. So like your content, you own it 100%. Your likeness, your intellectual property, that is all yours. But the problem is that you have to be the first to publish it and you have to be the first to copyrighted. So like you can go to the Library of Congress if you have anything, like anything that you want to protect and get it copyrighted. It's like $30 at the Library of Congress. Like that is straight like the way to go when it comes to protecting your content. Like even all of these projects that come out with NFTs and they want to protect the art, if they don't know to go to the Library of Congress and protect their intellectual property right there with the art, then they don't know what the hell they're doing at all. All right. So when it comes to the content, Brooke, I'm telling you, you own it. Now, when it comes to the data and the content is already out there, you can't stop it from being out there already. What you can stop is people monetizing on it, and you can collect them on it. It's the DMCA stuff, all of that. So like we have to but the data itself and it being out there, you can't control that. There's nothing you could do about that.
Yeah, real quick, right? I don't know about Noster. Brian can answer that as well. But in the case of Lens Protocol, the idea is that, let's say you want to create content, you have the option of going the route of YouTube, for example. Then Lens Protocol will have an alternative to it that somebody else provide, like a lens tube. And so that content that you create looks and feel like YouTube video, but that video is actually an NFT that you own, and you decide where you want to display. Same thing for your tweets, for your content. Basically, people are mapping the social world and saying what are the applications that people are using, and how do we create decentralized alternative to it on top of that protocol. I'm assuming it's something similar for Noster.
Yeah, I'm be honest with you. I got into an argument.
Let's go to RN. She's had her hand up for a minute.
All good. Thanks for having me up.
Welcome.
And thank God I'm out of Twitter jail. Thank God. Just a thought on, other social platforms. Don't you think that before Elon would let a bunch of people migrate somewhere else, that he would scale Twitter to do the same things? Or are we talking?
Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, Twitter, in the end goal, this is actually one of the scenarios of the developer that created it. So first thing, it's a misconception that Jack Dorsey is the one that created this, because he's the one that's got into it or whatever. It's an open protocol. It's been around for 3 years now. It was really small and niche, and a bunch of hobbyists were making it. And Jack Dorsey saw it, and now he's supporting it. So this is not Jack Dorsey's thing at all. This is literally just grassroots, community, open source development at its finest. So the idea is basically that in a world where this actually works and people want to use it, Twitter could just become another Nostr client, because essentially it's a dual system. There's the relays, and then it separates the front end from the back end. There's the relays, which are the back end, which have all of our data, our account history, our post information, our pictures, everything. And then there's the client, which is a window that allows you to see that data itself. And so the idea is that if we create a free market dynamic, like I described earlier, for this data, eventually people will want to access that data, and the clients are going to compete for consumers by creating a better experience for people. So Twitter will be competing to be a better client as well. We'll curate the feed and we won't show you porn and we won't show you stupid shit. But you're but I like 4chan, so I'm going to use the 4chan client or whatever to access all that data, and I want to see all the stupid shit that people are posting. And so essentially you have the freedom of choosing the kind of experience that you want, and the data is not centralized. So you're not wrong that this is another thing I got into yesterday, is that it is an uphill battle to make this work. But I think the consensus is that everybody, regardless of your beliefs or your ideals, or what coin you like, or what political ideals you stand on, I think everybody agrees that the censorship has gone too far, and we need to have an open platform where people can just say whatever the fuck they want to say and not get banned for it. So the idea is hopefully that this is an uphill battle, but the world will see the value in it, and eventually it's going to compete with the network effects that these walled gardens have created, and force them to either adopt the standard or die, essentially.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And to Jess's point about, oh my God, another social network, I feel totally the same, but I think it's good in the sense of competition and other people, leveling up, like Twitter.
I just have a quick question for a technical clarification, Brian, if you know. So I've jumped on Nostr a few times. It's pretty easy to get. Once you're on it for about 10 or 15 minutes and you're coming from the crypto world, you figure it out. And so the best advice would be to just jump on one of the clients and just do it. But the quick question that I had, Brian, is can you clarify whether or not the relays are mirroring or the content or not? So that's what I'm trying to understand. So you have all these relays that you can choose, or you can put up your own server, or i.e. relay. Is the content getting mirrored across all those different relays? I doubt it.
Yes. So it depends on which relays you choose to post to. So that's part of the incentive structure. Like I said, the goal is basically to create a free market for the data, and that also involves creating a free market for where people put the data. So the idea is the only thing that this thing has anything to do with any sort of crypto, any sort of anything, is just the fact that there needed to be a solution for this problem of like how do we incentivize, how do we create a system that the relays can like natively create like some sort of payment system so they can offer their services and charge fees and whatever based on what they need, and it integrated with the Lightning Network. That's the only thing. So basically the relays can say, oh, if you want to post spam, this is like the one of the amazing things that proof of work solved. It was initially created to solve the problem of spam because it creates a real cost to spamming networks. So if like a relay is getting spammed and people are just posting stupid shit and trying to DDoS them, they can literally on the protocol itself create like a Lightning Network gate where it literally says like, you need to pay me a certain amount of Satoshis if you want to spam this protocol or this relay with shit. So essentially the relays can, you'll have like some relays that will be like just hosting whatever bullshit, just be a bunch of random garbage, and like those will probably be free or very low cost. But then you'll have like some relays that have very high quality data, like high quality posts from people. Elon like posting his thoughts on like Twitter or whatever, and like they can probably charge a fee because the data that they have is so valuable that people want to access it, so they can probably monetize that.
But Brian, how is this? There's so many questions. How is it determined? Is it some sort of like massive algorithm that says this data is good, this data is bad? And then like, how about the hackers who work for me that could get in there? And I mean, is it only noticing when a DDoS attack, like how is it determining what's spam? Not only that, but are there going to be like relays and servers that are just there for child porn? Are they, and how is that? Like, we don't want centralization and we all want like free speech, but we don't want that, right? Like who's determining this? Because we write algorithms, my business, we write algorithms for a living, and there's really no way of saying like this is good data, this is bad data based on just like I would say market sentiment, but human sentiment. What relay is like taking away from illegal activity? Like we want free speech, but we certainly don't want what I just said earlier. I don't want to say those words again. No, I know. Across some sort of feed. So who's actually determining? Because I can guarantee you it's not an algorithm, because my black hat hackers that took down the biggest child porn ring in the country definitely didn't do it with an algorithm. They did it with their eyeballs.
No, yeah, I know. And everything you said is 100% correct. And I mean, that I'm not saying that that's going to like propagate everywhere, but unfortunately that's like part of the cost, part of the trade-off of trying to create like freedom of information, is that there's bad people and they are going to post bad things. But to your example of like, oh, what's going to stop people from doing that? It's like, even on the current internet, there's nothing stopping people from doing that. Like there's parts of the dark web or whatever there are
an entire group of ex-black hat hackers that are recruited by all of these guys that do this all behind the scenes, that have PTSD from what they've seen, that keep everybody safe. Obviously, I'm very like passionate about this because I employ them, and this isn't something we talk about on Twitter Spaces or we write articles about, because nobody wants to see it. They want to brush it under the rug. But you're absolutely right that these things are just gonna happen. It's like when Silk Road, when people gave us shit about using Silk Road, well, people buy, weapons and hookers on there, but we were doing it for something different. Like, yes, there's always gonna be bad and good, but being able to like track that and take care of it and like, make it go away. It's all, nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to see it. And that's my question, is how is a decentralized platform for free speech going to dedicate resources and humans who have the ability to pull that stuff down? Like if everybody's just like, doing their thing and it's free speech and there is no oversight in anything, yes, bad things will perpetuate, but a lot more so because there's no oversight from whomever it is that's doing this work, that's almost forced to, because these ex-black hat hackers, they get caught doing whatever, and then they're recruited, and their punishment is to become white hat hackers and take care of all of this stuff, no matter what it does to their psyche, what it does to their ability to get a job. But they're there and they're protecting everybody else. And in this case, I feel like we're just so focused on the free speech aspect and the decentralization aspect, and we own our content, we own our data. But that's just like surface. That's just maybe, in my opinion, these are all my opinions, but they're also coming from experience and some facts that like it's maybe like 20% of what we all do is sit here in Twitter Spaces and talk about, you know, interesting topics and things that we want to see in the world. Yet all of this other shit in the underbelly is going on, and nobody takes that into account with these new systems. And maybe it has, maybe Lens protocol, maybe all of these protocols have taken that into account, but I don't hear anybody, you know, saying anything about it.
Yeah, so part of the
let Dow go, Brian, and then you go.
Real quick, I see Hector in the room finally, but I'll make a quick point on that because I think you raised a really important point, Brooke, which is, in my opinion, right, and Brian touched on that as well, whether it's Relay or Lens protocol, those are back-end technology, right? Like the underlying protocol. But then when we talk about the clients that people are going to use, then we can enforce rules. And I think the solution as far as Lens protocol is concerned is to use something called the sound-bound token. And it's the same thing in Bitcoin, right? You guys have decentralized IDs. And it is that if you, as a client, right, can then have reputation connected to the Relay or the NFT, that you can say, hey, we know you've done child porn, so you don't have access to that. So we don't know who you are, so you need to prove yourself to certain aspect. But we need to introduce the idea of identity somehow, right? And hopefully it'll be a decentralized identity. And I think that's the solution to the problem that you mentioned.
Yeah, soul-bound tokens are. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you. However, who's determining that? Where's the algorithm that's determining that? And who's watching? Who's got that oversight? That's all I'm saying.
Great points all around. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into the CP talk. But yeah, Hector, you're here. We were just talking about, you know, the news that Craig Wright is not Satoshi. So wanted to see what your thoughts were about that.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Nostra protocol, but okay. What happened? Who said that he's not Satoshi, or did he say he's not Satoshi?
He did. He said
Didn't he lose the trial?
Yeah, he's done with the court battle.
Which one?
The one with Peter McCormick. Come on, Hector. You know what's going on with Craig.
Okay, listen. I don't know which one you're talking about because also HODLNOT came out today and Craig Wright won the appeal in the HODLNOT case today. So there's two different things going on at the same time. So I just wanted to clarify. Sorry. Peter McCormick, what I heard was Peter owes Craig $1 million, 1.1 in legal fees. And the argument was not whether or not he is Satoshi, it was for defamation, and he lost that because he was paid $1 in damages, plus the $1 million in legal fees. So I don't know where you're getting he's not Satoshi.
Well, he tweeted out, I believe it was yesterday, I've been too angry for too long as I cared for external validation. That ends. So apparently he's giving up on the court battle to prove that he is Satoshi. I still think that he believes that he is, but he put it out there that he's no longer seeking validation from external sources.
Hector, what the BSV fails to understand, bro, is that you're not just battling the public courts. Like, the courts can say whatever they want. Like, Craig Wright is ultimately battling the court of public opinion. If the public opinion is that he's not Satoshi, the courts can say whatever they want. It's that he's not Satoshi. Like, if the courts came out tomorrow and said Sam Bankman-Fried is innocent, the public opinion would still be that he's not innocent, and nobody would be believe that he's innocent. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what the judges say. If we don't believe he's Satoshi, you can't. There's nothing anybody can say. He has to prove it, and he hasn't proved it.
You would hope, though, that if a judge did say that there was some significant evidence that we could refer back to change our minds. But yeah.
Yeah, it gives it an aura of legitimacy, but ultimately, if the public opinion, the pervading public opinion is he's not, and the evidence that was presented, people don't consider it to be sufficient, it doesn't matter. It's one guy's word versus the whole fucking world.
I really wish you guys could see my facial expression right now. I'm like dead serious. Like, I like, how could you be in such denial right now, Hector?
Denial of
His
what?
bags are heavy.
Denial of what?
No, I'm serious, bro. Like, but this whole Craig Wright thing, like,
What's a denial? Let me just point the question back at you. How can you have such conviction with have little knowledge?
what do you mean, bro? He doesn't have the keys to the wallet. At least, you know, he should have kept the keys. And then if he really wanted to destroy that hard drive, he should have just done it in front of the world. You know, he should have just moved one fucking Satoshi and then thrown the fucking thing into a river. If he really wanted to prove it. But he did it. He sat there. He apparently stomped on the hard drive. Okay, well then, like,
yeah, the BSV narrative, Nico. The BSV narrative is that ownership of the keys doesn't establish identity, which they're honestly, like, when it comes down to it, they're right. It doesn't like 100% establish identity, but it's still strong evidence to suggest that what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
No, it's not evidence at all.
Unless he stole it.
Exactly my point. I can take Jess's keys tomorrow, and am I now Jess? No, I've stolen Jess's
Why didn't
keys.
he at least move one Satoshi into a wallet, and then he'll be like, "Yo, this one Satoshi came from the Satoshi wallet, and I kept this one Satoshi just to prove that I am Satoshi." How about it?
That's why I'm saying it's not. That's why I'm saying it's not proof, Hector. It's evidence, and like all the evidence of like all the other things that he's provided also don't support his argument. The courts have literally said all the evidence he produced is fraudulent.
Okay, do you believe that?
So what evidence could he produce?
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, what exactly do you want him to do?
Log into the wallet?
Well, not even log into the wallet. Log into the account on whatever server that the other guys were communicating with him with. On whatever that platform was. I forgot what the platform was called. But there was a platform where, what was it called?
SourceForge.
Okay, so why doesn't he at least log into the SourceForge account, bro? At least that. That, like, yo, that's the
you even do that?
minimum. He doesn't have to have the wallet. That will at least prove some sort of identity, bro.
Can you even? I'm not even sure. I'm not trying to justify. I just don't even know if you can do that anymore.
What do you mean? The source is not.
You can.
You can't. You know for sure, like you can, or you just guessing you can.
Bro, I mean, if he is Satoshi, you would think he would find somebody to get him back into that account, like.
At the bare minimum, am I like, yo? At the bare minimum, bro. Seriously, there's a ton of threads of them having conversations on how to build Bitcoin and his idea and all this crap. And there's this fucking manifesto. And
no, the majority of information was happening through emails. Majority of information was relayed through emails.
Okay, so log into the email account, bro. Send out an email account. There's the SourceForge, there's the email accounts, there's so many different ways he can prove he's Satoshi, yet you guys are like, everybody's stuck on the fucking keys. Like, this is where I'm telling you, I really feel like sometimes you're delusional. Like, let's get a little, let's go back to the real world.
Nice, no need to call names or say mean things about anybody.
Hector, I want to say I love the new profile that you went with, Dexter. It's awesome.
I'm sorry, Hector.
Oh my God.
I'm really sorry. It's just that I feel like I get stuck in a loop talking to you, bro. I actually do like you, and I actually don't think your intentions are wrong. It's just the way you do it. It's like, holy shit.
I find it kind of amazing how, like, I probably feel like I am the most, how would I say, like, I feel like I have the most objective view. Yeah, you guys feel like it's very.
No, absolutely not.
Hector, you're in a cult, man. You're in a cult.
Exactly. No, but listen, this is what you guys believe. You guys believe that I am in a cult, but I am literally telling you, I have no emotional attachment to this thing at all. I see emotional attachment to every single one of you guys with your Ethereum, with your Solana, with your.
There's cognitive dissonance.
Hold on, I didn't say anything, man. I was just listening.
No, but listen, I'm saying, it's just crazy to me that you guys are telling me I am crazy, but
listen,
you're the ones over here peddling all the shit you guys talk about.
Hey guys, let him
I
talk.
forgot to marrying a token.
You guys gotta let Nico. You gotta let him finish. You guys can't attack him and not let him get his word in. That's not right. And let's be nice here. It's the holidays. Come on, guys.
So okay, so you guys are coming at me and saying, you know, I have this subjective, crazy, cultish view on Craig Wright, right? You guys are making it seem like I am one of you guys that I came up and found BSV at the bottom and said, you know what, this is a great thing I should start pushing, and I'm gonna believe in it. Like, that's not how it came to be. Like, I literally started BTC Bitcoin in 2013, right? That's when I found out about this shit and started learning and going into it. Like,
wait, I just said be nice, and you're trying to make it seem like you're smarter than all
no,
of
I'm
us.
not. No, I'm not. No,
Yes.
I'm telling you what I.
This is it. He's in a cult. Like they believe they have the truth.
No, but I'm telling
this
you.
This is literally what, bro. This is what all cults do. They tell you like we have the truth. We know the truth. There's like some conspiracy that only we know about. Everybody else is brainwashed.
But that sounds like maximalism. That sounds like BTC.
No, I agree. I agree with you. By the way, Jess. I agree with you 100%. There's also a fucking BTC cult.
Oh yeah, there is. But yo, Hector, you sat there and accused all of us of being some sort of a cult with some sort of token. But yo, let me tell you something, bro. The closest I got to anywhere near marrying a token was Harmony, and like that was done with. I cut that out very like long.
Bro, I told Jess over a DM
before.
Harmony's a piece of shit, and she didn't believe me, and still,
Fine. That's besides the point, okay? But like the point I'm trying to make is here, like you know where I stand. Me and you have had a conversation many times, and it's like, bro, like I really do think that you have good intentions. It's just like, yo, this whole BSV is Bitcoin, and like, yo, it sounds cultish. You go into spaces and you try and make it a point on how BSV is better instead, and you're also condescending and explaining it too. And you gave the perfect example of being condescending.
Nico, let's stick to points and not just talking about Hector personally, please.
Okay, sorry. So like, it's like, yo, just like, let's like, how are we gonna move on from forget about what the
exactly. What objective measures do you want to be able to say that you're right or that I'm wrong? Like,
I don't care about being right or wrong here. I would rather just let's move on from BSV being the best, or any token or coin or blockchain being the best. You know, like why not just learn about whatever the hell's going on? Because you know it's
because the majority of this shit is fake, bro.
It is.
Found out
and it's a giant experiment.
See, there we go. There's the conspiracy again. Like you know the truth. The BSV cult has found the truth. Everyone else is.
Brian, you're on my side. You tell me this. You tell people the same shit. You tell them it's all bullshit. It's all going to zero. You say the same points. So don't even. You're not.
Yeah, but not because of the same reasons that you guys got to. Like, bro, Barry Silbert conspired. Barry Silbert conspired with MasterCard, and there's like a huge fucking conspiracy that overtook Bitcoin. Therefore, like we know the truth. Like everybody else is blinded.
Things against Ethereum with J.P. Morgan. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you guys need to bend the knee to Ethereum, man.
You guys say the same shit against Ethereum.
Oh man, you're proving his point.
Listen, we're all in a cult, and it's just a bunch of little sub-cults within this huge cult.
Just admit it.
No, Brian is doing the exact same thing to you guys all the time, but yet for some reason it's okay. But when we talk about it as
not
Bitcoin,
okay. He
okay, then
admitted
that's
it.
fine. Okay, let's admit that that's the case then, right? But like what I'm telling you is that I'm not emotionally attached to BSV. I'm telling you, it's just that's what I see and that's my view. But I'm not some cult member or whatever. Like you guys are. If anyone's cultish, it's the people who are in crypto who believe we all going to make it, all this bullshit you guys believe for the past 2 years.
BSV is crypto, so
no, it's not.
Oh my. Okay, you see, that is craziness right there.
I mean,
but real quick,
I can tell you why.
Wait,
I'm
what is it then? If it's not crypto,
in the non-personal conversation between Brian and Hector, and just real quick because with the holiday season, right? Can you guys give us your understanding of the fundamental issue with the Lightning Network and how to resolve it? And is there an issue that touched on centralization there?
Yeah, it ends up centralized. It ends up in the ability that no one's ever going to be able to use it, or no one's going to be able to get out of it, whoever is using it, because the limitation of the base chain is existent and it will never change because there's this belief that these people think that they're decentralizing a network when in reality all they're doing is just making it for the richest people to ever use it, and the poorest people will never be able to get in or get out of any other network. That's the problem of the system in essence, that you can't ever let people use it, because if you think about it, there's only 600,000 transactions every single day on the base chain, right? Layer 1. So if everyone who is poor, right, in quotes, air quotes, poor, is trying to get onto Lightning because, it's cheap fees everywhere and everyone can use it all the time. Like, first of all, you got to budget that. And most people who don't have money don't budget, right? They're just making their daily spend and buying and selling. They're going to have to go budget and pay that high fee that one time to get onto the secondary network. And once they get on the secondary network, they now lose all the properties of the blockchain, which is that they don't have to worry about security, and they have to handle their own security by handling the latest state of transactions, right? So when I send you one Bitcoin on layer 2, I have to make sure I have the latest state of that change, and then you have the latest state of that change, and we just keep doing that back and forth until we scrounge up enough money to pay the ridiculous fees on layer 1 to settle back on main chain. So in a reality, in a future where you expect that this is going to be the way, then you have 55 million millionaires in the entire world who will always be able to pay the layer 1 fee, and layer 2 will never be able to move in or move out because the rest of us will be too poor to pay for those fees. And all they need to do is 4 transactions each per year, and that's it. Your bottleneck is there forever, and you're screwed. You can't leave the network, you can't enter the network, and that's it. That's the end. And then in that case, when no one's willing to spend budget or create new channels because they don't want to spend their own money or pay those fees, who's going to do that? The biggest entities, the biggest institutions who have all the money in the capital to be able to connect to each other. And what are you doing? You just connect to one of those fat people who are going to be these institutions, and they'll relay everything for you. And that's it. Game over. You have basically the banking system all over again. So congratulations, you didn't do anything different. If anything, you made it just a worse transactional system.
That's not necessarily true, because there are use cases of going back to the layer 1 and using them both. Like, stop laughing.
No, I'm not. You didn't refute any argument. You just literally said that's not the way.
Because,
you
bro, listen, hold on a second. Like, your argument is about centralization and all that. As long as the layer 1 is still decentralized and you go on top and whatever, as long as you can go back to the layer 1, you're fine.
You can't. That's what I'm telling you. You will literally not be able to, because it would be too prohibitively expensive for you to do so. Because if there is a future where there's 600,000 transactions still on the main chain, you'll never be able to pay for it because it'll be too expensive. And if the hash rate, if the price does not continually go up to pay for the miners, at right now $17 million a day, you can't sustain it. It has to, something has to give.
But you're saying that with the perspective that everything's going to run on the whole world global economy is going to be on Bitcoin, which I think a lot of us here don't think that.
Well, what else would it do? What's its purpose then?
So real quick, sorry to interrupt, Nico. Just a quick question, right? Because I get what Hector is saying. I want to throw it back to Ryan, right? Do you agree that as the adoption happens and it's easier for people to just use a custodial wallet and leverage institutional relays, that you will not necessarily have that? You still have options to create your own things, right? To run your own node and to run your own watchtower. But what the activity looks like on Lightning Network will be almost like a banking system where most people just use institutional relaying and the custodial wallet, and they have the option to opt out. But most people will just use that because it's easier and inconvenient to do so.
What, Hector? What chain is that?
That's BTC with the Lightning Network.
Okay, no.
Like Brian, would you be okay if that becomes a scenario? And do you think that's the likely scenario?
He might not be there. Brian, you there? He might not be there.
He's back. Miami, the streets of Miami got him right now. He can't talk to the phone. But that's the thing, right? Like, if think of this is the reality right now. Like, if Jess and I open a channel, right, on Lightning, and I send her 1 Bitcoin for whatever, taco, she has 1 Bitcoin. I have 0 in a channel, and in the channel, which is like basically just an updated state of what our channel is. So we started the balance of me 1, her 0. I give her the updated state with my signed signature of her saying her 1, me 0. But then let's say, for example, she loses it. Her house blows up, her node blows up, whatever. The latest state is now in favor of me, and I can go send to the network saying, oh yeah, I still have 1 and she still has 0, and she's out of luck. That's a very inconvenient system for a noob in tech, right? The majority of people are not going to want to have this kind of security on their hands. Like,
yeah, the majority of people don't know how any of this stuff works, and like, who cares? Why are we still stuck on this stuff?
Because you're peddling this idea this is going to be the future, and we're showing you how can
no. Well, you got into talking about BTC and Lightning Network when our conversation was about Craig Wright not being Satoshi. That was the topic on the agenda.
I didn't bring up Lightning Network. I don't know where.
Yeah, I did.
Bro, you're literally. I came back and you're literally talking about HTLCs and like how people's houses blow up.
But can I just ask my question real quick, Brian? I'm sorry to turn that topic into this, but I'm interested generally. What Hector is painting is simply this, right? Potentially just due to the ease of use, you have institutional nodes that relay most of the transactional layer 2s on Lightning Network. Now, obviously, as you say, Brian, they have the option to opt out. They run their own node, their own watchtower. They have the option. But most people are lazy, right? So would you be okay if that is what the Lightning Network end up resembling basically just people leveraging custodial wallet and institutional relays. Are you okay with that?
Yes, because it's a layer 2, so therefore one of the things that's why we're choosing to scale in layers. Whether you agree with it or not, that's the thought process, is that the layers above can be a little bit more centralized. They don't have to be fully centralized, but they can sacrifice on some decentralization, because you can't build a decentralized system on a centralized foundation. Like, if they can just pull the rug out from under you, like, you're shit out of luck. But you can build centralized systems on top of decentralized systems, because that's literally what the internet itself is doing right now. Like, all the protocols that are running the internet are all just a decentralized tech stack, full open source that nobody is in control of, and people have built centralized companies on top of it.
Just think of what you said, though. Like, you're saying, okay, that's fine, it could be more centralized, whatever, right? But you're pushing this idea that the less fortunate or the lesser people, like, in the sense of, like, economically speaking, and air quotes, just trying to make it simple, is that we run nodes on the base chain to decentralize it, but the majority of fees are going to be paid by the very vast minority to sustain this network, and everyone else is going to go to layer 2. So if I'm on layer 2 because I can't handle layer 1 fees, why am I running a node to decentralize a network that I can't even use?
Because you want to verify that the money that you're working for is actually there. Like, it's not that if Jerome Powell didn't come out and to say we need to create 10 million more coins because JP Morgan just went bankrupt.
But I'll never go back. I'll be too poor to go back. I'll never ever have to worry about layer 1, because majority of my time is going to be on layer 2, because I'm not going to be wanting to come back and forth to layer 1, layer 2, pay those ridiculous fees to be able to maintain a security of a network that the majority that's going to be, and we're hoping, is going to increase over time. Then right now it's $17 million per day, and majority that's minor Coinbase revenue. Offset that with transaction fees and those.
Yeah. So Hector, ultimately it boils down to, you want a free market or you want communism? Because essentially you're just saying, we got to make sure that everybody has their fair share.
We don't have a free market.
No more BSV. I'm sick of talking about BSV.
All right,
because you can't handle it. That's the problem. Because your market.
Yeah, dude, you got the truth. You're right. Yes.
All right. It's not going to be versus BTC. We were just talking about recent news and what we saw about the Craig Wright court hearing. So if Hector, I'll give you one last chance to comment on that update. If not, I think we're going to move on.
Sure. Yeah. Peter McCormick lost the court. Obviously, if he would have won the court, he would have not have to pay $1 in damages, but he's paying $1 in damages, and he's also paying 900,000 euros. So 900,000 euro plus the €1 in lawyer fees. So that to me seems like a loss.
Wow, Peter McCormick lost on talking shit. Wait, Jess, this is really important. You also want to talk about why you're excluding the fact that the judge is literally asking Craig to come back to court in contempt of court for producing false evidence. You want to talk about that, or you want to just ignore that part?
No, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Have him come back. Sure, that's fine. I have no issue.
Yeah, all right. So let's have it both ways. Yeah, you're right. Peter McCormick has to pay damages, whatever, because the system says that he talked shit and he hurt Craig Wright's feeling or whatever. But the court is literally saying, Craig Wright, you got to come back because the evidence you produced is false and you lied under oath and you're in contempt of court.
So he could go to, if he's unable to prove that he didn't lie, he could potentially go to jail.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, sure.
And what
happens if they find him guilty? Like, are you finally going to give up on this?
What was it that the judge said? What specifically does he need to come back and prove?
That the evidence that he produced is not falsified.
Like the whole thing about him stomping on the drive and all that shit? That's a different court case.
That's not
the documents. Yeah, but he's using the same evidence in literally all the courts, because essentially he boiled it down to, I am Satoshi, and they said I'm not Satoshi, so my feelings are hurt.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Norwegian court case was when he mentioned he stopped on the hard drive, which is a differentiator, which Jess had mentioned. That's why I was clarifying.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the truth, man. Just because he says I stopped on the hard drive in Norwegia, and then in the UK he says I lost the keys in a dumpster, it doesn't change, what's the truth? What actually happened?
Sure, and I have no issues with him having to come back. And then that's not my argument. My argument is that if Peter had won, like you guys were saying, that he lost the case of being Satoshi, which is not the case. He actually won because Peter is owing him and his lawyers $1 million plus $1
You just said yourself that wasn't what the case was about, though. The UK case wasn't about that. It was about Craig Wright having his feelings hurt because Peter was defamatory.
So exactly. So it was never about him being Satoshi. So exactly my point. So where is this argument that people are saying Craig is now no longer Satoshi when in reality it's about defamation and about feelings, right? So if that's the case, then there's no reason we should be talking about Craig not being Satoshi because that was not part of the court hearing, which you're agreeing to. So therefore, regardless of what the outcome was, it's not about Craig being Satoshi, not being Satoshi, it's about whether or not he was defamed by Peter McCormick, which he was, and the court found that he was.
But then with that logic, then you have to agree that you said that the Norwegian court was about that. That was what it literally boiled down to. Like, is he Satoshi, and did Hodl not have the right to say that he was a fraud and a scammer? And they ruled in favor of Hodl not.
The Norwegian court said the exact same thing. We are not here to determine whether or not Craig Wright is Satoshi. We're here to determine the same thing as Peter McCormick, right? That's a very similar draw. And the same thing happened there. Yesterday, the court approved the appeal of Craig Wright, and Haldeman just wrote on his Twitter today saying, I will go back if I have to do it again. Right? So there's another reason showing you guys are not understanding what you're saying. You guys are just saying Craig is not Satoshi for some fucking reason. You guys made it up. But now you're telling me it's about defamation, not about being whether or not Craig is Satoshi or not. So what is your argument is my point. You guys don't actually know what you're saying.
Hector, again, it goes back to, I don't want to do this anymore. It's talking about brick wall. What I'm trying to get you.
You don't want to do it because you don't
no, bro, what I'm trying to.
All right, gentlemen. That's it. I said we were going to move on 10 minutes ago.
Okay, so I just want to say I'm going to write a book about it's going to be a book about short stories about how many different times and about how he did it, how many different times Craig Wright lost his keys or whatever he did with his keys. It's just going to be a book of short stories about that at this point. And we'll call it semi-fiction for Hector.
I just find it amazing how someone is able to constantly pay these attorneys and everything, right? And not have to bat an eye and just keep continually doing it. That's the craziest part. Maybe he ran into like some Bitcoins early on and started selling on the market.
Isn't he a big holder of BSV? I mean, in BSV, some of these people have
How do you become a big holder of BSV, Jess?
Down, so.
How do you become a big holder of BSV if the price keeps going down?
I don't know.
You must have held BTC, right?
Listen, just because somebody has a bunch of BTC doesn't make them like Satoshi. I agree. If he was Satoshi, like he should have access to his forums. He should have
listen to Joe Calasari.
Private keys. Like, you're fucking Satoshi, and you're gonna. Why did he say that he stomped on his keys? Like, what was the purpose of that?
He said it I think, if I recall, it was because of the Satoshi wallet. He's saying, in the Satoshi wallet, which is on the hard drive, is what I stomped, and to prove a point. That's what he says, right? I'm not arguing for or against if he did it. I'm just saying that he's claiming that he has access to other keys, which hold other Bitcoin, which makes sense. But yeah, besides that, he's probably just trying to prove a point. But then to him, it doesn't matter because he already has lots of other Bitcoin.
All right. Erica, good morning. What's going on?
Good morning. How is my favorite group of DJs?
We're doing good. Thank you for coming up and saving us.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a question though, and it is about Craig Wright.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. No.
All right.
Brain can't handle it good.
Okay, I know. I'm sorry. Okay, but why would, if Craig Wright is Satoshi, why would he be anonymous for so long?
Exactly what I was just going to say. Go ahead.
And then fight so fucking hard to try to prove that he is Satoshi. Like, what in the fuck sense does that make?
Why is he not logging into the emails, the discussion boards, everything that he sat there and planned Bitcoin with the rest of the groups with? I asked this question earlier too. Trust me, I've been stuck in this loop for like
Bitcoin talk is what you're saying?
Right is.
No, but that's
he's stomped on the hard drive, guys.
Email.
That's a great point that Erica brought up. Like, okay, the whole thing was he wanted to be anonymous. Like, why all of a sudden now you want to be the star of the show? Like. Satoshi didn't seem like a narcissist that wanted to be the center of attention.
Or he was outed by people early on to Wired magazine in 2015.
Okay, but still, if you wanted to be anonymous, you could just disregard that and keep on with your life.
so was Dorian Nakamoto. Why didn't Dorian Nakamoto come up on the world stage and be like, you know what, guys, I was right. It's true. I am Satoshi.
Great point, Erica.
Haven't
Thank
there
you.
been other people that have claimed to be him too? So that also complicates things.
And everyone can still claim to be him right now, and they haven't.
Until somebody logs in to that blog or like definitively proves that they are Satoshi, I don't fucking believe it. And that's
me, Hector. I claim I'm Satoshi. I claim I'm Satoshi.
No, I'm
me too.
I'm
Yeah.
Satoshi.
Has any of the other cypherpunks like come and said yes? I guess I don't really follow this because I don't really care. But Hector, we don't know each other. I'm asking you, has any of the other like original, does he have like ancient BTC? I don't understand why he can't prove it. I'm genuinely asking.
He stomped the keys.
It's what?
He supposedly destroyed the wallet.
Yeah, he destroyed the.
I mean, I can understand that we do have hard drives in a landfill in Idaho that have ancient BTC on it. So like I get that, but I'm just curious. Like I don't really watch this because I don't actually.
But that's mostly from people like who didn't realize the value of Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Gave it away for pizza.
Exactly.
Money.
I have these guys that we mined Bitcoin with have so much PTSD that like, because we didn't know. But like, why would, if your whole point, I'm really genuinely asking this, if your whole point is to prove that you are, then why would you go to such ends to not prove that you are? Like to just I get that, like, I don't care about the money and all of that. Like, I get it. I'm the one who came out of that unscathed in 2010 in my situation, because I didn't throw away, a couple of hard drives and they went straight to a Trezor in 14. So I get that, but like, why would you? I don't understand. Yes, you can still log into SourceForge. You can still log into GMX Mail. You can still you can have access and do any of the other cypherpunks say that he is. And I'm genuinely asking, I'm not trying to be like passive aggressive. Have they come out and said, yes, Craig is one of us? Or do they just say they don't know?
Who's they?
The cypherpunks.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Everyone.
Yes, please. This is devolving into a BSV conspiracy space.
Hey, let Hector respond. I think Brooke's question was to Hector. Then we'll let Crypto go, and then we are going to move on from this topic. Go ahead, Hector.
Brooke, why do you assume that the cypherpunks was a thing? Like, the Satoshi didn't write to the cypherpunks mailing list. It was forwarded to the cypherpunks mailing list. That's
my understanding from being around for a while. My understanding is that they all knew each other. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just asking you. That's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to argue. From my understanding, they all knew each other. They knew whether they knew each other like face to face, but like, back in the forum day, you knew who somebody was. You knew how they signed off. You knew their algorithmic writing style. You knew exactly like when they would log in. You could tell in so many different ways because it wasn't sophisticated code back then. It wasn't sophisticated means of communication. So that group of eclectic dudes that were on board and all of this stuff, because it wasn't just one person. There had to be a transaction, right? Like back in that time period, it was literally us making this chain connection between us and Silk Road. There was no wallets, there was no nothing. Like everything was so transparent that those cypherpunks had to have known each other in terms of like how the code was written and how they signed off on messages. So have any of them come? Like he could do that even. This guy Craig or whomever is saying that they're Satoshi. He could go and write something in a note pad, like document and say, remember this, guys? Like, remember how I wrote like this? And they would say yes. They could have never met in person, never, exchanged phone calls, none of it. But there's something from back then that could identify this person whomever he is, that has nothing to do with Bitcoin keys, has nothing to do with stomping on hard drives. It has nothing to do with any of that. So that's my question to you: is has anyone else come out and said?
Well, who's the person that spoke with most with Satoshi?
I don't know.
Gavin
You tell
Andreessen.
me.
Gavin Andreessen.
And he said that
Gavin
that
Andreessen just in Miami here in the Miami hearing against Ira Kleiman last year, he took the stand and said, "I still believe Craig Wright is Satoshi."
And that's one guy.
That's the guy.
Why?
That's literally the guy that the guy who
No,
literally
I
talks to
understand
Satoshi.
that, but like he just went on trial or whatever. Was asked, and he just said yes. He didn't have any of the things I was talking about. He just said yes. Like he could have perjured himself, but there was no documentation. There was no like, hey, let's go through this. I mean, I could go through right now and.
Well, no, they did that in 2015. In 2015, they had that whole thing where they talked to each other for like a whole day in London. And again, he said he agreed with them. Like, yeah, I believe this guy's Satoshi. And then again, right now, last year, he did the same thing.
Because he just said it, right? He's just like, yeah, I believe it. Was there documentation?
They said that they talked about intimate things that only Satoshi would know about me. That's what he said.
All right, let's go to crypto and then we'll move on. Go ahead, crypto.
Hi everyone. Nice to chime in here. Hector always has this teaching attitude of just ask questions and then through your own answers you will get to it. However, I believe that takes just too long. Brooke, so imagine the DeLorean from Back to the Future comes on and is in front of your door, and Doc Brown comes and says, "Well, that's mine." And you will say, "Well, prove it." How do you do that? What if the DeLorean doesn't have keys, like a normal DeLorean, like it has the flux capacitor?
But it does.
Right.
Well, okay.
It does.
Okay, fine. So here it goes. Let's say you have to prove that the car is yours, but you're not allowed to use the keys for whatever reason.
I'd like to answer.
Crypto, what? Get to the point.
Get to the point. The point is that the question here is he Satoshi, yes or no? And the normal way that you evidence that, if somebody has committed something, is through, witnesses. Okay? Now, Hector already said that Gavin Andreessen is a witness, and he confirms that Craig is Satoshi. John Matonis confirms that he is Satoshi, the guy who was head of the Bitcoin Foundation in the early beginning. Ian Grigg, one of the head cryptographers, confirms that he is Satoshi. John von Perling confirms that Craig Wright is Satoshi. There are a lot of people that confirm that he is Satoshi. Everybody else thinks that is Satoshi, like, for example, Adam Back or Nick Szabo or whatever. They are very quietly tucking in their tail.
And blot out by Visa.
Huh?
They've been bought by Visa.
Okay, but if that's the case, then why would Nick Szabo care whether or not he said that this guy was? And to answer your question, like, you could tell Doc, whatever his name is, from Back to the Future, okay, disassemble this car and reassemble it from memory, or show us the plans that you had it, instead of just some Michael whatever his name is.
But if Doc Brown comes and shows you something about the flux capacitor that nobody else knew about.
Did Craig do that? I'm genuinely
asking.
He did.
Well, yes. Craig Wright did that several times. So, for example,
where did he do it, and what did he do? What did he prove?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, so one of the things.
So he told somebody in private. He didn't publicly display it to scrutiny.
Off the top of my head, I know.
So where is it? If it's public, where is the proof?
There's a video of him in a conference, him video conferencing in with Nick Szabo and telling him it's a Turing complete machine. And Nick Szabo saying that's a very esoteric view you have.
That is proof that he knows how the flux capacitor works. Nick Szabo.
No, because it's not a Turing complete machine.
Yes, it is.
Oh my
we will not stop that. We will not.
All right, guys, we are not here to convince anybody who Satoshi is. You can make your point and then we got to move on. We're not going to agree here. So, crypto, finish your perspective, and then we'll keep it going. Because you're not gonna. I doubt you're gonna convince me that Craig Wright is Satoshi.
But Jess, you can't talk to the BSV call without it devolving into this. Like this is it. They're stuck. They're stuck in the past forever.
I did put up a poll to see what do you guys think. Is Craig Wright Satoshi? It's on the top.
And people can believe whatever they want to believe. Where's the proof? Like, okay, so and so thinks that he's
because that is how society works. Why do we have thoughts?
Tammy, I don't understand what you want as proof. Like, if someone in my life who has
I'm very
that's kind of proof.
I'm very black and white with things, so I need proof.
That's okay, what is the proof? What do you need?
All right, let me ask you one question, then I'll leave. Okay, so if Craig is who he says he is, and he wanted credit for his work, besides the anonymity thing, why did he release the source code? Why did he not just release core as just an executable and like keep the source code proprietary and not release it to anybody? Why did he release the source code for the whole world to look at it and be able to do whatever they want to do with it?
Oh, wait, are we just gonna...
A lot of what ifs.
Why did he release the source code?
A lot of what ifs, guys. A lot of what ifs. Crypto V, you got 1 more minute. Any last points you want to make? But we are going to move on.
The thing is that we should kind of like, we all think that Satoshi Nakamoto has to be either an AI or an alien or some amazing super duper group of super duper vigilantes that are watching over us and only want us the best. What if it's just a normal dude? Well, a little bit quirky, but just one dude that said, okay, these are the tools. Okay, let me use them together. Oh, ta-da, something like Bitcoin comes out. Okay, now the question is, back to the real world. How do we prove that somebody is someone that we think that person is, or how does that person prove that he is that someone that person thinks? So if I'm standing in front of a car, how do I prove that that is my car? If I have the keys and turn it on, then most people will say, yup, that's his car. However, if somebody looks in the glove compartment and sees somebody else's name as the proprietor, then having me the key does not mean ownership of the car. Okay, so having the keys is not really just the only ownership of the thing. So you have to show more than just the keys. That's my endpoint.
And that's what we're saying. You have to give us.
Which he hasn't.
What exactly do you need then? That is the question then. Answer that and see if Craig Wright has already delivered on that.
He should just
on my viewpoint, he has.
Bitcoin from scratch again if he's like such a talented dev.
Well, Bitcoin from scratch, it's just Litecoin. I mean, you can just copy paste the repository and you have a new coin. What does that prove? You want Craig to invent something as amazing as Bitcoin? Okay, well, showing that Bitcoin is even more amazing than everybody else thought by, for example, showing that it's Turing complete is an amazing feat just as much as Bitcoin itself.
How is showing that Bitcoin is Turing complete an amazing feat? There's so many Turing
because nobody else. You didn't know. I didn't know. Nick Zappa didn't know. Adam Back didn't know. Stephen Hawking didn't know that Bitcoin was Turing.
All right, guys. Hector, last comment. I swear this is the last BSV Craig Wright comment. I really do swear.
No, please. I want to say one thing, please.
Go ahead, Hector, and then Brian. Go, Hector. You're unmuted.
No, I want Crypto Voyager to come back.
Oh, I didn't boot him off.
Wait, why?
Okay, so let me just ask Hector then. Hector. So okay, we believe you. He is Satoshi. You've convinced us. What do you want us to do with this fucking information?
I don't want you to do anything. I'm not the BTC guy who tells you.
Okay, all right. He's Satoshi. I still think he's a piece of shit. So, like, what do you want me to do with that information?
Great. That's fine. I just want you to know that BTC is under false pretenses and that your whole argument of economics and the whole theory behind Bitcoin is dead.
Okay, I think you're wrong. So I don't care who Satoshi is.
Satoshi or not, it's just you're pure. Just from an economic standpoint, a theoretical standpoint, your shit doesn't work and it's broken and it will never continue to be what you think it's going to be.
Yep. That's why it's been around for 13 years because we're wrong.
No,
it is dying for the last 6.
It's dead. Yep.
So look.
I thought Satoshi was cheap.
The guy that just finished telling us that that Turing complete, Ethereum is Turing complete. You know that, right?
Yes, but it doesn't scale.
Yeah, but
it doesn't scale.
You're not even close to the same thing.
You're sitting here trying to tell us that something was fucking discovered that wasn't, bro. Like
it was discovered. Ethereum was built because
Bitcoin.
Okay, amazing, bro. He is.
Okay. Guys, what is going on? Christmas is in 2 days. Be kind.
Yes.
I think you're better off moving the topic because this is like an ongoing war right now.
Real quick, this is the whole crux of the entire BTC narrative falls on 2 people. Their names are Francis Elliott and Gary Duncan. People you've probably never heard of in your lives, but these people are the people who created the title of the Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for the London Times. Had they chosen any other article,
guys, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. No, bro, I know the truth.
Listen,
you guys have never heard of these guys. They have control behind the reins, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Hey guys, it's the holidays.
Let's move on. I say let's move on because we heard some great points.
Just listen, real quick.
Great points on both sides, but it's time to move on, guys.
Just understand how crazy this is. Had these people, these 2 people who wrote this article, right, the editor and the writer, had they decided on any other title that was not related to financial news of the time, anything else, right, anything else, you can even look on there, something different, that would have changed the entire course of the BTC narrative taking over banks. But the reason that there's this belief that for some reason that Satoshi was waiting in the darks, in the shadows, waiting for the perfect London Times article to then release his source code is just ridiculously stupid. Like that's how brainwashed these people are to think that Satoshi was waiting for the perfect London Times article to be able to release something that fits.
This is cult speak, dude. This is literally word for word cult speak. Like we're not the ones that are brainwashed. Everyone else is brainwashed.
Hey, hold on. What's wrong with?
Doesn't it sound like 2 drunk uncles at your Christmas party just going at it, just like fighting over something that the rest of the family's moved on, looking at the Christmas tree?
Oh my God.
What's wrong with being incredible?
Let's let Emotion go. You came up. Did you want to comment on
Let's just go back to the latest flavor of the Utes or whatever shit we're talking about.
You're like,
yes, Utes.
Yes, let's talk about it, please. I would rather talk about the Utes.
Here telling people not to insult
something else people can lose their money
and
on.
you're gonna throw shade at the fucking Utes.
Wait a minute.
I'd rather they lose their money to Frank than lose their money to Craig.
Because you're so emotional.
This conversation never has an ending.
Honestly, I want to chime in. What Utes is doing is pretty incredible. They don't give a fuck what's happening with Solana. They're just building, and it's probably one of the slickest projects I've been in. Well, it's probably one of my slickest projects.
Them, right?
In motion, this conversation has a logical error, and we're stuck in an infinite loop, bro.
Exactly, and it's never gonna end.
Do you think?
So let's just forget about it and talk about the latest craze and grays of whatever the minority.
Let just be, please.
I thought we were done, Jeff.
I honestly, personally, I just don't care.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry, Jess.
Breda, I see you're new up here. Any comments?
I'm saying that's the point of crypto. And crypto is about.
Hey, let Jess finish, please.
The latest craze.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to. I heard you guys want to change topics, so I was thinking maybe I can put a bit of a shameless shill.
No, not in crypto and coffee.
I'm sure we'd love to hear you shill.
I'm sure there's plenty other spaces.
It's not about if you give me 30 seconds. I'm not gonna shill. I'm just gonna say.
No. Sorry, bye.
What is happening?
But my project. Honestly, I'd rather listen to people shill their bullshit than listen to more Craig Wright bullshit.
We get it. You're emotional. Craig Wright touched you in the wrong place. We get it.
What the fuck does that mean?
No, I seriously think Craig Wright touched you
in the wrong place because
his
bank account. He touched him in his bank account.
Exactly.
Be a little more original, Nico.
All right.
Did you say that to a girl? I'm just curious.
Let's bring it back. Okay. I do have to go at 1.
Are you talking to me?
So we're gonna start moving on. Shill guy, we're not gonna let you back up, so stop requesting. I'm sorry, this is not a shill space. But yeah, let's bring it back. We talked about Satoshi. I put the poll up. You guys go vote. Did Hector change your mind? Do you think Craig Wright is Satoshi? Let him know what what you guys think. I put in my vote.
So far, it's 80 to 20%, I think.
I know. Before we talk about, let's talk about Twitter for a little bit. So just a couple of updates about Twitter. They put out the symbols
I'm
now.
sure
Like
Jess's audience is representative of the entire.
Come on,
that is so
Hector,
fucking rude,
please.
Hector.
Do you not hear
I know the truth. You guys are all brain.
Right. I'm gonna mute you guys, and I'm gonna finish my. Am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So he's just talking over me. Okay. So yeah, what I was saying is that now.
All I heard is that was rude. I didn't hear anything else. It keeps cutting out.
I don't think
Can you invite scams are bad?
All right.
He might be rugged. He has to be rugged because he wouldn't just be doing that.
Hector, leave and come back. Hector, leave and come back. Because it seems like you're not.
Can you not hear Jess?
No, sorry, I can't hear Jess. I just hear like.
Okay, that's. I was
so
like,
leave
I don't
and come
think
back,
this
bro.
guy's that rude.
Yeah, leave and come back because
leave
you've
and
been
come back.
talking
We'll
over
pull you
her
back
the whole
up.
time.
I was like, damn.
No, Jess. Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna step down. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Thanks for coming up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, I was going to bring it back to maybe let's talk about Twitter a little bit and all the updates that have happened. So now you do the hashtag BTC. And again, that's BTC, not BSV. And it leads you to a chart within Twitter as well as ETH. So it looks like it's going to start rolling it out. And now I think you guys all know we have the Twitter views. What do you guys think about the Twitter views? Let's bring Hector up.
People are petty as hell. There's 2,000 people viewing shit and like 3 likes.
People are stealing things actually from the way it seems to me. Like what they're doing is they're reading other people's threads and then just rewording them as their own. But that's been the thing anyway. Like it was already tested. Like somebody did one thing and then they just reworded it. It was like a 5-word phrase, and then they just reworded it. It still made sense, and it was the same thing. And they got the same, almost the same amount of likes and all
It's
that.
a hashtag. It's a hidden hashtag, is what it is.
No, Leo, it wasn't. Well, yeah, it's not. It's the same concept. It's not a hashtag, but you're right. You're right about the concept. You're correct about the concept.
Dude, how the hell do you drop down nowadays?
Wrap it up, or not wrap it up. Can you tell me what's going on? I haven't been on Twitter for like a week. I've had some situations, and actually, it's been lovely not being on Twitter. But what?
So the likes to views.
Two things. So if I'm going to post it in the chat, if you do hashtag BTC or ETH, if you click on it, you're going to see a chart with the price within Twitter, and they're going to roll it out to other cryptos later on. It seems to be just Bitcoin, BTC, and Ethereum at the moment. And then the second thing is that now you can see the views, which before was like impressions. So it was hidden in the analytics of your own tweets. And now that is visible for everybody to see.
So what people are complaining about is you're getting like views to likes less than 1%. It might even be less than 0.5%.
Okay,
But
I would like to answer as somebody who, I don't know how else, you guys can all laugh at me, but I have 300,000 followers on TikTok, and we look at these things, we look at these analytics based on what is getting out there. So I get it. I understand like the ideas behind getting your information out there. And for a lot of people, it's a dopamine rush. And maybe it's my generation, but like if it all went away tomorrow, I couldn't care less. But to use it as like a business tool or an educational tool to understand what content is hitting and what content isn't, in my experience, for the last like 4 years, being able to look at that analytics and say, the content that I'm doing about teaching women about financial literacy is doing better based on how many eyeballs are on that, because that's based on the algorithm that TikTok's doing. Obviously, that's not the same platform as Twitter, but data is data and analytics are analytics. Are you guys, or are people worried about like other people seeing the analytics? Because like analytics are good because you can see what information's out there. And in terms of like copy pasting, like we've all been copy pasting everyone's shit for millennia. Like there's really no original information. There was a whole section of videos I did at the very beginning of 2020 that everybody would use my voice and lip sync over me. And so was that copy pasting? 100%. Did it bother me? No, because it just sent people back to my page. So is that the problem here, is that other people can view the video views? What is the problem?
Complains about everything. It's Twitter. Some people don't like the views. Other people don't like how it changed the UI. If you look at an individual tweet, now there's like 2 rows of data, or did they fix that? Or it looks like they might have fixed it already.
Go build an Oster client. If you don't like it, go build an Oster client and make it not look nice.
Did you see
one of
that
the
they
things
added
I think that a lot of the bigger influencers are worried about is they bought followers. So now like those followers are static and they're not actually like actively viewing stuff. So people are going to be able to catch on by comparing to other large followers that really have real viewers, that it's like, okay, you know, this person 24 hours after this tweet has around 20,000, 25,000 views. This person only has 3,000. Those are clearly bought followers.
But what is the point of knowing that? Like,
it's very
what is
how
the
to
point
improve,
of that?
how to improve your engagement. So like on YouTube, because this is the only place I have any real experience with, on YouTube, the way you were able to improve your views, your engagement was everything was how long you were able to keep them on your video. So your viewing duration, like the time duration that they were able to stay on your video. So what's not accurate with what's happening now with Twitter, which I wanted to bring this up. I don't know, did anybody see that they added a paywall, $11, and you get to test the beta stuff too? I got that message the other day, but that's besides the point. So like with all of this stuff, with people view, how do they take the view as like, if I'm just scrolling through, because there's a ton of tweets I scroll through, I never actually read it. And does that count as a view? Like, it's also, that's the other thing that hasn't been accounted for. They're not telling us exactly how they're accounting for a view. And from the way it looks, and Elon Musk was saying it, Twitter was kind of padding their own numbers too in some ways. So like all the reality of everything is going to come out slowly.
Yeah, so if you look at it like, if you have it and you have a very low view count, that shows fake followers. And if you have a very low view count to a very high conversion rate to likes, you also seems to have bought your account, those likes on that instance. So organically, you should be expecting about 1 conversion of views to likes, and you should have a high ratio of people seeing for people. That's true.
No,
How is that not true?
bro? No way. Because when I started my YouTube channel, I was fucking getting like 3,000 or 4,000 views with 100 subscribers, and I didn't pay for nothing.
You're seeing the views compared to the likes.
And my Yeah, but what I'm trying to explain to you, and it's fairly the same when it's organic. You end up getting like, all right, with the likes and all that, fine, it's not. But I've seen people get very popular out of nowhere, and they weren't fake. They just ended up saying something, and they ended up getting the correct credit. Like somebody retweeted them, and
but what we're saying is if someone has, let's say, 500,000 followers, and they're only getting 10,000.
Is he rugging or
he's rugging?
Yeah, he's rugging.
I have a question though.
He's rugging.
And Hector, I don't know if you can hear us, because yeah, you're definitely rugging a little bit. And again, what is the point? Because not like Hector, I'm really trying to understand this, because if somebody was to come to me and be like, Brooke, oh my God, 100,000 followers of yours on TikTok are bots, I'd be like, oh shit, like, let's do something about it. I don't really understand. Are we trying to FUD people? Is the idea, this is just a general question. What is the point?
I think it's a good thing, because if you think about it, like most other platforms like YouTube and TikTok, it's based upon views, right? Like that's like the driving number. They still have likes, they still have comments, but the main driver is view. And, I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I scroll through people's tweets. I read them. I just don't like them. I just keep it moving.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's a bad thing, but I know Nico was saying, like, what is it really as far as views? It's my understanding that they just took impressions, which was the analytics that was personal to you, and renamed it as views and made that public, that piece of information.
Yeah, but did they hit my profile with the impression, or did they just hit the tweet, or like that's the thing? That's how did they?
No, but it's like an
views?
impression. It's like an ad impression. If you've ever done, paid advertising,
Okay, I got it.
It's like an impression. If somebody sees that, and then there's different levels. If somebody clicks on it, that's considered an engagement.
Because that's the data that's behind, like there's the public view, and then there's whatever's behind it, just like any other social media. The analytics I get from all the TikTok information, there's so much more that I can view privately than you can see on the outside. Is like how many profile visits, how many engagements, how many link clicks, how many how long people stayed on the video, what videos did better. Is it 30 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it whatever? And so I'm assuming with Twitter, it's like, did people actually view it, or did they scroll quickly by? I bet there's a piece of data there that says if somebody's, hovering over it for more than, I would say, a second, or maybe, a half a second, that counts as a view. I know with TikTok, it's 3 seconds. So if you scroll by the video within 1 second, I don't get a view. And so that's obviously a problem if I'm trying to get information out there to either have somebody, communicate with me about consulting or whatever it is that I'm using social media for. Obviously, I want to do better with content that, if there's a video that somebody's not seeing. So if you're putting out tweets because you want to educate people, or you want the dopamine rush, or whatever the case is, whatever you're doing here, whatever we're here for, you want to make sure that stuff is actually doing what you want it to do. And by showing the views, it's giving you that data. And maybe by showing the views, and if it's a bigger amount of views, then more people are going to look at your tweets. They're going to be like, oh, well, 55 people looked at this tweet. It must be great, because it's in a mob mindset. And it's not mob, but it's a group mindset that if a bunch of people are doing it, there must be some validation, some validity to it, or some good thing about it. So I'm going to go consume that as well.
That's a great point. I see Wadi. Oh, go ahead, Scams, and then we'll go to Wadi, who has his hand up, him or her.
Yeah, I was gonna just a couple observations from one thing you said. It appears impressions is still there that we can get to, but my impressions all seem to be very close to the views, but slightly lower. So it seems like it might be a little bit of a different calculation. And the other reason it might be a little bit different is if you go back to older tweets, the box is blank. If it was just impressions renamed, they could have just, added that there for older tweets. But it's only for tweets from like a week or two before the announcement. It looks like they started to collect and calculate the new field in their database. They just didn't put it in view mode. It was just being collected in their database from when they were ready to turn it on. But the funny thing is also when you click on like the little question mark next to impressions, it basically says like how many times this was seen on Twitter. And it's like, isn't that a view? So it does seem very close to impressions, but I think it's a slightly different calculation, and it might be based on what Brooke was saying about scroll time might be factored in.
Great point. And yeah, that start date was December 15th, from my understanding. Go ahead, Wadi. I hope I said that right.
No, you said it actually perfect. So many people name me something else except Wadi. So thank you. And thank you for having me up here. So basically this is my experience as a YouTuber or a content creator. I realized that people that buy a subscription, usually regardless the minute that YouTube notices, they're gonna start taking those subscribers off because they can now detect when there's a bot. So
bots on YouTube?
Yeah.
It was an old problem on YouTube, but YouTube actually so a lot of people back in the days were buying subscribers.
Yeah, so basically, that's why, like, ever since I started my own channel, it's a little bit more difficult for me because I do have a disability, and people think probably I'm gonna go talk about that, but I actually talk about crypto, technical analysis, and everything else. So my biggest struggle is that I notice that a couple of friends that I have, they got monetized in less than 4 months. Now, 6 months later, I'm over here and I am struggling to get to the monetization, but it's because I decided I want to have an organic growth. Now, this is the other part that I was gonna address. I also know other YouTubers like Awesome Austin, and I'm realizing it that crypto content is losing more and more interest as the bear market continues. So, like for example, if I go on Awesome Austin's channel and I'm just, viewing whatever he's talking about, I noticed that before I used to see 600 people in the chat, 400, and now it's like I barely see 200. So everybody that's doing crypto right now, it is struggling in general.
No, I think you make a great point. Like, even with Twitter, I don't watch YouTube a lot, but even on Twitter, like a lot of people that were here during the bull run are gone. Engagement is definitely down. We're left to the bare bones of the same, 1,000 people that we see over and over again. Like, I love you guys, but shit, we need some new, fresh blood in here. I forgot who was next. Dal, go ahead.
I think that's great. I love it. All right, and everybody leaves, and the only people left are the strong hands, the diamond hands, the builders, the creators. And that's usually where the most interesting thing happens, because we kind of quiet down all the speculators and the people that come here, the tourists, for 1 day, 2 weeks, or 6 months. And the people that are left, the people that genuinely love the space and care about it, to argue right before Christmas about Craig Wright. Who cares about it except a few nerds on crypto? So whoever's left, man, look to the right, look to the left. People are going to be here for a long time. So I appreciate it.
Great point. Go ahead, Nico.
I don't know. I feel like Justice trying to get rid of us with that comment, but that's besides the point. No, I'm kidding.
So I'm broke as fuck, so I have nowhere to go but here, so I can't shop.
Leo, I'm telling you, bro, I'm about
to
get up and just start asking people for money outside the building. But Wadi, I wanted to make a comment. I wanted to comment on what you were saying. So engagement is always down around Christmas time, going into January. It doesn't matter who you're looking at, and you could go look at non-crypto creators everywhere, right? You might be better off going the route that you're going, because, and I promise you, I'm telling you this story, I'm telling you this, and I promise you this. I got monetized within 2 or 3 months. It was all organic growth. It was just because I knew how to do something that other people didn't know how to do at the time. And then I didn't like the route I took, and I just stopped it altogether. All right. So like, you got to understand, there's certain things, there's also like, when you start going into that, you'd begin to realize, like, you got to be very responsible with what you're doing, So just grind it out, if is all I'm going to tell you, and try and get yourself monetized. I know that I think the restrictions are not now, what is it, 8,000 views you have to have concurrently and a certain amount of subscribers and whatever it is. Like, you just got to just put content out, and that's it, and make sure it's good content.
I just want to chime in really quick, because I'm a bad content creator. Like, I think if you have the ability to create the content you like and then worry about the monetization afterwards. So create good quality content, because if you create content with the sole thing in mind is to make money, you're probably not going to be creating content that you like. And what I mean by me being a bad content creator is that I don't check my analytics and shit like that. Company asked me to do it. I was like, fuck, like I have, and then I looked at it. It had been like months. Like, I'm not good at those things. but because I just create the content that I like. And if people vibe with it, then good. If they don't, like, at least I'm enjoying myself and I'm learning from you guys and so forth. I just wanted to put that out there.
You're better off doing it that way. It's real. Like, you're a lot better off doing it that way. Trust me. Like,
and again, not if people, that's their primary source of income, it's a little bit different, and you have more pressure to do content, and having that pressure on as a creative person is very tough to handle that and to keep pushing out work. So just doing it for fun, which is what I do, I feel more relaxed about it. I don't have to prove anything or to anybody. We do what we want here.
Can I tell you what happened to one of my friends? He got big. He was the biggest one in that video game because at the time when I made my channel, there were 3 of us that were big. It was him, another guy in Singapore, and me. And me and that guy, we still talk till today. He checks on me, we check on each other, and one of his problems is, and he made a living off of one video game, but everybody wanted to see him for that one video game. And it's like, you have to create, and he was making 2 or 3 videos a day about one video game. And it got so repetitive that even he said, he's like, now I'm not making, the game is dying and I got to find something else to do after 5 or 6 years. And he's like, I didn't make enough money off of the game for me to be better off. He's like, so like, even in those situations, like they live real life. Like this guy has over 250,000 subscribers. I actually haven't checked his subscriber count. He might even be at 500,000 now. But I see his views and I know not exactly what he's making, but I have an idea of what, and it's like, and even the bigger ones, like people think that somebody has 1 million subscribers and they're getting 100,000 views. Do you know what's behind all of that? Like there's people that need to get paid. There's a ton of things. They have teams.
Great point. Sorry, Nico, if you could wrap it up because I do have the hard cut off at 1.
I go off on tangents. I'm sorry. It's fine. Yeah, that's it. It's wrapped up. I made my point. How about hi, Steven. How you doing?
What's up, Steven? Let's let Wadi chime in and then we'll go to Steven, give them both a chance to get their word in.
Oh yeah, thank you. So basically I create content because I do enjoy, talking about crypto and everything. But the whole getting monetized thing is more about getting the 1,000 mark, because I noticed one thing about YouTube. When you're monetized, when you become an official partner, they actually bring you out of the algorithm. When you're not monetized,
that's not necessarily true, bro. I've been monetized for you. I'm still monetized, I think. That's not necessarily true. Like it gives you other opportunities, you're right, but not what you're taught. You have to actually come out with, you have to have an actual following, because when you realize
sorry, you gotta let Wadi finish and then we gotta go to Steven, and I do have a couple of things before I gotta wrap up. Go ahead, Wadi, finish up.
All right, thank you, and sorry. So basically, that's what I was told. I'm new to the whole YouTube creator thing, but I also realized another thing. When it comes to doing AMAs for projects, they don't really take you serious unless you have more than 1,000 subs, or at least 1,000 subs. And that's the reason why I worry more about the whole monetization part. That's it.
Sorry, I'm trying to eat here. Steven, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know what I should do first. Should it be, what are you eating, Jess? I guess we'll do that first. She's still chewing. All right, fuck you, Nico.
Coffee. She's eating coffee.
Oh, nice.
I want a bagel.
Like
what? Like
don't go off on a rant.
Relax. To go one day without cursing you out.
So, I think with the whole thing with Twitter, how long has it been since we've seen any changes in the platform? Like what Elon's making changes, whether we like them or not. It's nice to see him, innovate and try new things, and it's giving us kind of a peek into the algorithmic black box. I would like to see that open source and see what the fuck is going on, but the chances of that are probably pretty slim. But yeah, it's nice to see him build. It's nice to see anybody that's still here building. And this is the platform we all use. And as a creator, yeah, I kind of go along with that. I think there is a whole lot of pressure on you if that's your source of income, if that's how you have to eat, especially right now. This is not an easy market to push anywhere whatsoever, unless you're like something big and everyone's following liquidity and then they just drain it to the bottom. So, I think there's a lot of good things going on if you're still here. And yeah, well, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Fuck you, Nico. I love you guys, except for Nico.
No, you forgot to say fuck you to Leo, bro. Like,
No. Actually, this one's for Leo, not to shill. I have a new project. It's called Hot Dogs. It's an NFT project. It's 14 Ethereum. There's 100 tokens. Leo, jump on it. It's gonna go to the moon. All right, I'll give you a private link.
Wait, but what if he sits on it? No, don't do it, Leo.
I got ketchup token Inu if you want to buy the ENS nomination.
Great points, Stephen. Thanks for coming up. Erica, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet. What are your thoughts about the views and the content creation before we wrap up?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be quick too. I just think it's interesting. Like, I always like to see a little bit of analytics. I don't necessarily know how to interpret it. Like we were talking about earlier, like, what does it mean? Is it just somebody like scrolling by and they see it regardless if they read it or see it? Like, what is the case? I don't know. Jess, I'm like you. Like, I log in maybe 3 times to check my analytics of my profile. I don't really give a shit. I know I shouldn't be saying that out loud, but like, I don't know. I don't get into it. I do whatever I want to do. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I do what I like. I do what I do because it like personally fulfills me. Like, it makes it so that my brain doesn't go crazy with like nothing to do. Like, I create my own chaos. I have to have a project. I've got to do something. So I might as well do something that I actually like and that like I'm passionate about. So yeah, I think in the long run, like, that's the best thing that we can do. And yeah, the views are interesting though. It's like 60,000 people will view it, or it'll have that number of like 60,000 impressions, and then you'll see like 10 people heart it, and maybe one person retweets it. And so it's super, super interesting. Like, are people just like that stingy with their likes? Like, a like is fine. I mean, people can obviously go to your profile and they can see what you like. Retweets are different because that does show up on your feed, but like, why are people so stingy with the likes? I don't know. I'm not. I like well, I don't like everything. I shouldn't say that, but if I like it, I'll throw up a heart. Like, fuck it. Why not? I'm going to show you some love. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. If I take the time to like read your tweet and I'm like, okay, I'll like it. Whatever. Stop being so stingy, you guys. God damn, it's Christmas.
I know Elon did, great points, Erica. I know Elon did respond to somebody saying, somebody was like, oh, you should take away the like but icon. And he's like, that's a good idea, or some shit like that, he said. Didn't Instagram do that?
I think they did, and then everybody revolted, and they all the influencers like came at them with like pickaxes and flames,
like us with the link tree, like how we revolted.
Yeah, exactly. They were pissed because I mean, they actually do, like, it affects their bottom line. I think Instagram, like, influencers or content creators are much different than like just like what you and I do, yeah, we're like, okay, whatever.
I feel it's a cultural thing between when you go from Instagram to TikTok to Twitter to YouTube, because like I would never even think about if I saw an NFT advertised by any influencer on Instagram, I wouldn't even want to look at it. Like, I wouldn't even bother to click or it. Like, let's be serious here. Like, would you?
Yeah, but the removing likes thing is like stupid, because I'm sure everybody here has read posts that literally have nothing to do with anything just because you see like, oh, it has a lot of likes. So it's like it like creates like this network effect where it's like, oh, other people found value in this, maybe I'll find value in it too. So let me read it. If something's got like 20,000 likes or whatever, like, you don't know what the fuck it is, but like clearly other people who read it found value in it. So
wasn't Twitter Blue supposed to like put you to the top of the feed in the algorithm? It just seems like marketing bullshit because it doesn't make a difference. Now pay me $8.
Actually, one thing I just saw somebody post this on my feed that I didn't even think of and I agree with was, remember last year, like when the COVID thing was happening, everybody was like, I'm getting shadow banned on Twitter. That actually the views thing now actually stops that, because you'll have like 10,000 people that viewed it and you'll just realize like, oh, I'm not shadow banned. I'm just not right, or I'm not funny and people aren't liking my thing.
And I don't know
That
if I
is very
believed those
interesting.
sites. Did you guys really believe those websites that show that?
I mean, they were,
No.
I don't know. Some people said that they weren't accurate. I think that's a great point. Just two other things to comment on about Twitter. On Twitter Spaces, they did remove the closed captioning. So I don't know if it's that they're no longer storing the captions, but if you look and you try to turn it on, either it's not working or they removed it. And then the other thing about Twitter Spaces, shit, what was it? I forgot. Oh God, I forgot.
It'll come back.
To me.
That first one's really interesting though, because my like hypothesis was always that, you know, they're transcribing. Oh, you remember? They're transcribing everything and saving everything. But go ahead.
Yeah, I remembered. The other thing is that I noticed in the recordings, it no longer stores the pinned tweet. So maybe they're trying to do something to like eliminate the amount of storage that Spaces is like keeping up with. And yeah, not sure if you guys tuned in. Elon was in a couple of Twitter Spaces. He was in one with somebody that had resigned the previous day, and he got trolled a little bit. I know I pinned that little interaction. That was kind of funny. He called the guy a moron. And then his other one yesterday, he joined a Tesla investors Spaces and said that he wouldn't be selling any Tesla stock until 2025. So he's been bouncing around Spaces that are not Mario's, which is a good thing. And it's definitely been some better conversations about, you know, Twitter and the tech and so forth. Not sure if anybody tuned in to any of those.
I did catch your clip, Jess, that you put up of Elon, and I do believe he called the guy either a dumbass or a jackass. That was pretty funny.
Was Ross Gerber in the space with the Tesla investors?
He was. Oh my God.
Fuck
and
yes.
He was being such a fanboy, which just blew my
mind.
mind.
What a fucking bitch.
Yes, a fanboy. Elon, I love, like, we love you.
He was talking mad shit. He was like, this guy's retarded. He has no idea what he's doing. And then when he's like talking to him in person, like, he's like, oh my God, Elon, you know what, man? You might be right. Like, just bend, like, I'm just going to bend over. You can just take me, man. Fucking pussy.
Totally fanboying. It was funny to see because he had just been like on live TV that morning talking shit about Tesla and Elon. So he was fanboying. And of course, when Elon said, hey, I'm not selling till 2025, I think somebody even put it up that the price went up of the stock and they were like all in after he said that. So
it's literally just like fucking people who are into shitcoins. They're just hoping, oh my God, my founder just gonna say we're gonna burn stock. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens as far as like him jumping into Spaces. Let me see what else was on my notes. Yeah.
And also for the record, before we move on, Mario Nafal is a massive scammer.
Who?
Mario Nafal is a massive scammer.
Oh, I saw a couple of YouTubes about him. I'll just leave it at that.
Don't fund my friend.
Wait, Brian, can you break it down like a little bit? What's the short version?
You want the video? I'll put the video up in the nest so you can look at it.
The video. I don't want to spend the rest of our valuable time talking about Mario.
I'll be honest with you, just from the way he presented himself on Twitter, I don't even care what I saw the videos, I saw all kinds of things, but just the way he presented himself on Twitter, I did not like. I followed him for a day and then I unfollowed him. I didn't like what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I'll just say this, okay? I'm not gonna get into like the whole thing, but if the video you're gonna watch, I'm gonna send it to you now. There is literally a clip of him on a Zoom call with somebody saying something like, oh, I impersonate companies all the time and I send mails to like these celebrities to try to get these phony interviews with them. And the guy was like, isn't that illegal or whatever? Like when I get in trouble, he's like, yeah, you know, you might get in trouble, but you got to do what you got to do to make money, man. Just do whatever it takes. Like just break whatever laws you got to break, do whatever it takes.
Yeah. yeah, share the video with Steven. Blade, you have your hand up. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody?
What up?
What's
What
up?
up? How do you feel about Twitter views and about Elon and anything
All
else
right,
you want to
so
vent
the
about?
Twitter views, I love it so fucking much because for the longest, I've been watching people like, oh, look at your fucking ratio. You know, it's shit. You get like 2-3 likes per tweets. But then these same people who used to say that, you only get like fucking 200 views and their engagement not even add up. But I honestly like just give us more insight on like what's going on, like how many people see the tweets, you know? And I'm like, damn, like people really like only saying like 100 or 200 tweets me 100 200 reviews, and like I think that's great. Like that's better than like having a like or a retweet, because sometimes you know you'll tweet something, you think nobody sees it, you're like, oh shit, my shadow ban or it's not that engaged. It's like, no, people see it, they just don't engage with it. But it's good, so now we know that when we tweet something, we have an audience, people are actually watching and reading it, you know. So it tells us that people read it, and it's like it's a passive engagement but without the actual engagement. I just think that's really cool. It's really smart, it's brilliant.
Yeah, great points. We'll see what happens if it stays. I know he was talking about changing the view. He put up a poll. I believe it's been, oh no, it hasn't been changed. I still see it. It's like 2 rows of data. A little bit overwhelming seeing all those numbers though, but yeah, to each its own. It's good. Anything else? Just a couple of other things. We didn't touch a lot about NFTs. I know Yuga Lab and Bored Ape Yacht Club came out with a bunch of announcements. To be honest, I haven't been tracking it, but that's coming out. I think more NFTs is one of the things I saw. But some of the clips looked really good, the trailer. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, Mercedes, in the car world, Mercedes filed a trademark for NFTs and for marketplace for digital parts, including Mercedes S-Class, G-Class, and Maybach. And then Porsche is also doing an NFT that's coming out. The mint date is January 23rd. That one was kind of cool. You'll be able to like design custom Porsches online, and it'll be cool to see if like some of those cars actually become a reality. I don't know what the mint price is. I did put the what is it? The thing in the Twitter community, but they do want like all your information. They want your home address, your phone number, your email, just to sign up for the whitelist. So if you don't want to do that, keep in mind. Leo, go ahead. I know you signed up.
Oh yeah. We're talking about the Porsche.
The Porsche one, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see what that is. I've never seen something like that, so I was curious.
Yeah, I'll put that up as well, even though it's going to disappear. And another thing, I did share a thread yesterday from Drea, who's been on here before. She talks a lot about ENS, and she put out a thread on how to create a website from your ENS domain. So if you want to check it out, it is a little bit techy, but she was like, hey, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So if you guys are looking to have a decentralized website, let's see what else.
Yeah, I was trying to mess with it yesterday. It's I can't do it. I can't even hit send to make a phone call.
I on Twitter kicked in. It's like, get off of Twitter. Fuck you, iPhone. But anyways, I tried that a few months ago, try to connect my website to ENS name. I was like, well, fuck this. Like, yeah, it's doable, but you got to sit there for hours.
Try her steps.
Huh?
She laid it out with screenshots. It's a long thread. Give it a try.
I don't like reading long threads.
I'm gonna try
if she make a video,
if I can
I'll
do it, you can fucking do it.
If she make a video,
and
I'll do it. But I try to.
Oh, now you want a fucking video.
Want a video.
You guys are spoiled. Really quick before we go to Floss, and then I do have to wrap up because I know he's going to come chime in about ENS. And then the last thing about was NFTs. Erica, is G Media still minting the NFT passes? Is that still going on?
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to show, but I can pin something to the top actually. It's a free NFT pass that gives you exclusive access. There's actually 2 utilities of it right now. One is you can win a 1 of 10 custom ledger, and then David's also giving away $100 to 5 people. So I'll pin that to the top. Thank you.
Dope.
Thank you.
And then we have Flossin here. Flossin, what do you say to everybody that is saying that creating a website is hard?
It took me like 5 minutes to do mine last night, and I'm not technical at all. I mean, I say I'm not technical. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too much, but I did confirm with someone called enspunks.eth. There's like a glitch with GitHub, so that could be like another issue people are experiencing. Like my UI isn't showing, but my flossin.eth.limo is live. So he's about to get back from lunch. He's going to help me with that. So maybe next week I'll have an update for you guys of maybe how we can fix that glitch. I do know teleporthq.io. That's another free version of you can use to help launch your .eth limo.
Great point. Great point. I know Daniel has DeFi. Daniel has a website. Dal, do you have a website through your ENS?
No, I got a bunch of ENS, but I'm too lazy to set them up.
I
mean, it's a cool use case.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I'm looking for Hector Lopez and then Brain.eth as well. We'll resell it real quick.
I'm looking up ENSs right now. BSV is dead.eth. Go ahead, just Stephen.
Speaking of which,
it's not even worth wasting your time and money. Like,
was that it? So wait, two things. The Porsche thing. So you have to buy an NFT to design things so that they can potentially make a car based off your design. That seems like it might be in their favor. Also, I think the .co, the ETH.co addresses is a really cool thing where you just add .co to your ENS and you have this free customizable profile. They're really targeting it towards artists, but if you think about it, it opens the door for free, blockchain ENS based social media platforms. I think that's what you're going to go towards, which is pretty fucking cool if you ask me. And you just put .co at the end and boom, there it is.
Great point. Is there a .bsv domain name service?
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, that's the original Bitcoin. They usually don't have stuff like that. It's real old school.
Yeah, we real old school over here, dude. Anyway, your poll is losing, by the way, Jess. You should probably get some more bots on that.
Yeah, because you got the fucking BSV tribe to share.
Wow. Hey man, I'm just a person with a lowly 4,000 followers.
72%.
Oh my god! No, that's it. The poll, they won the poll, so they're right. Craig is Satoshi.
Well, didn't you say there's a court of public opinion as well, Brian?
Again, what I'm saying is what do you want us to do with that information?
Your court of public opinion.
You want us to just dump all of our BTC, all of our everything, and just go and simp for Craig Wright?
No,
Listen,
you can do what
it's
you like.
Twitter. The polls rule everything. So if the poll wins, then
we are back with Craig.
Wright is Satoshi.
We are back with Craig. That didn't take half an hour.
Yeah, because you guys bought it. The poll.
Rent free. He's living rent free over here. That's amazing.
Hector brought him up to be fair.
I heard he's vacationing all year for free in 2023 because of all the free rent.
What happened, Tammy?
You're going to have to find some place that you can live rent free after the end of 2023.
I said,
he's going to be broke.
Oh.
Hold on, bro. She's trying to say something. Hold on.
I'm cracking up. I don't know if I can. How much time is left on your poll, Jess?
A day. Share it. If you got bots, I don't have any fucking bots. So if you got bots, get some bots on there. Fuck it.
Jess, you know that if you link to Twitter with Twitch, you could actually make money on that poll. Well, you would make BSV, but I think
no, dude, they have the Nostr protocol now, which you can create your own node and relay and do all that cool shit that no one's gonna ever do.
Jess, I'll send you some Chuck E. Cheese tokens if you post the poll again.
Leo, I know you had your hand up last.
No, I was just going to say something to Steve on what he said as far as I know a lot of these projects, like new NFT projects, like Porsche, for instance, came out, and and I know your views on it and stuff like that. But I think this is actually a good thing, not only for them getting into this space, but also like, can you imagine the person is actually going to get a job if what you're saying is right and they design a badass car? I mean, it can take a person that probably never had a chance to do something good in their life, like especially get a job with Porsche designing and shit like that. So I think it's good.
Is that part of the actual contract? Like they actually stated that?
Oh, I don't know. No. I'm just saying if I send in a badass fucking artwork of a car and they do it, I mean, obviously you got the skills. So, I mean, I would, if it was me and I was the owner of Porsche or whatever, I'm going to reach out to this person. Hey, I like what you did. You know what I mean? It's just opportunities.
Right. You have a good heart. Their intentions might be different. You know, they might just say, hey, this is a nice design. We're going to go ahead and make a car based off this. You already bought the NFT. So fuck you. Nice day. Bye. Sorry, that wasn't very much English. Very good English. It's okay.
All right. Well, that is all I had. I'll turn it over to Dow first. Dow, any last comments or plans for the holidays?
Yeah, drink champagne and get drunk and forget about Craig Wright. But now I'm excited for next year. Things will be fun. I think, I don't know, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice, and I suck at trading. So, but I think there's not much. We've gone through all the worst that the crypto space could give us. Like, what more can we get past FTX? So, looking good, man. And on technical note, if you, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, go to Mario space and go fuck with fucking Mike Alfred. Like, come on now.
And just real quick, if people want to get some reading for next year, it's a weird German sounding name, but get familiar with Eigenlayer. You heard it here first. Eigenlayer is going to be big in 23.
Is that financial advice, just to clarify?
Not financial advice. This is educational or entertainment or both.
Tammy, what about you? Oh, go ahead, Leo, and then we'll go to Tammy. I saw you.
No, Dow. There's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to spell that. Can you DM me what that is? The name.
A horrible German sounding Eigenlayer. Just think about how you can write this.
You're up, Tammy.
I just wanted to tell everybody to have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. We are spending it with family, and we are just trying to make it normal. We are one less person this Christmas, but, we plan on making it special. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful Christmas. I wanted to inform you all that we have warmed up here. We are now at -3 degrees, feels like -28. So things are looking up today for me. Mars is now winning. It is probably colder on Mars than it is here. We've now lost.
Tonight when it gets cold, it'll literally be 100 degrees warmer where I am than versus where you are. Yeah, I hope everybody stays safe during the storm. I've never been through a blizzard, but I've been through a shitload of hurricanes. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great holiday, and we'll be back next week. So thank you guys for coming. I'll see you guys around Twitter.
Have a great
Someone help Justice Poll, please. It's getting really
If you see my tweet, like it.
Share the freaking Craig
It's
Wright
60-40, guys. We're losing.
Those BSV bots are all over it.
Hector,
oh my gosh, hurry. Someone save it.
Because why put it up top?
Happy New Year, bro. Hector, have a Happy New Year. I really hope you
love you guys.
You have a good one.
Let's go.
Jess, can you put the poll up top real quick?
It's in the chat box. And the tweets are going to disappear anyways once